Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's time for another edition of the
Bert
Pod.
cast.
There we go.
I watched last week's and it seemed like there was a delay, and so I wanted to get really on top of it this time.
That was great, man. I think that was our best one.
All right, I just found my favorite Twitter profile ever. It's called Learn Pronunciation.
Oh my God, I need that.
Okay.
I'm the worst.
How do you pronounce the word cement?
cement?
Yeah.
Cement. Cement?
Cement.
Hey, let me tell you something. You keep talking wise, you're going to end up with a pair of cement shoes.
Cement.
Oh, that's right. That's how they say it. Cement. I didn't know that.
Oh, by the way, this is something at a dinner party I could do for fucking hours. I pronounce a lot of words wrong, but like I think it's I always say massage. Like if I get a massage, it's a massage.
Massage.
A massage.
Massage.
Massage. Oh, okay. Here we go. How do you say? You ready for this? buffet.
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 Buffet. No, you don't. You're going to get your ass kicked. Hey, let's walk across the cement over to the buffet. And get some tomatoes.
This is the most pretentious pronunciation of words.
Come on, keep going. I want to be aristocratic here. A buffet.
Okay. O-N-I-O-N.
You got to go slower, dude. I'm too dumb. There was just a lot of O's in that. I didn't know where you were going. O-N-I?
O-N.
On it, Joe Rogan.
O-N-I-O-N. You cut one and they make you
cry. Yeah. Now you're in my head because it seems so easy. Onion.
An onion. Onion.
I'm calling bullshit. You're just fucking with me.
No, it's A-N-A-H-N-I-O-N. So it's onion.
Onion.
An onion. Okay, you ready?
The best buffet.
Oh, here we go. Here's a good one. Okay? How do you pronounce pronunciation? This is really a fun fucking. So this is, do you see that, Bill?
Yeah.
It's not pronunciation. Pronunciation. It's pronunciation.
No. You're getting too far into the sound spell. It's pronunciation.
Pronunciation.
But it's not pronunciation.
Pronunciation.
Yeah, you're doing that. You're doing the Adam Sandler, Cajun man. Pronunciation.
Did you see my Adam Sandler interview?
Kevin Nealon. Dude, people told me that you fanned out so bad. This is how much I love you. This is how much I love Bert Kreischer. When you were like this, hang on a second. Hang on, Adam, hang on a second. I have a story I want to tell. I immediately hit stop. I love you too much to watch you implode in front of one of your big, inspirations, because I've done it.
Wait, who have you done it to?
Gary Shandling.
Are you serious?
I'm still shaking that off. There's times I'll be in the shower and I'll just think of it and just go, ah.
Wait, what happened?
Or I'll be walking on a hike and I'll be like, ah.
What happened with you and Gary Shandling?
There's no way for me to tell this story. Every time I'm going to tell it, but every time I tell it, I get embarrassed.
Oh.
So I was at, there was a Christmas party. I was doing a failed pilot for Comedy Central 10, 12 years ago. And somehow they were in business with Adam Sandler, or they were going to his Christmas party. And maybe it was one of Adam's movies. They just bought the rights to show it. I don't know what. Somehow they were affiliated. I was like, oh my God, I'd never met Adam. So I showed up and
this is a Comedy Central Christmas party.
No, this was Adam Sandler just had his own Christmas party and then just invited people out. and it was at this multifunctional place. Like one place you could like play video games, another place you could go bowling, and then there was like a big just function area.
Yeah.
And I went in there, and he was on stage playing and singing, and it was crazy. It's like, oh my God, a private Adam Sandler concert. I can't believe this is amazing. And it was some sort of a function room. Maybe they had dinner there. We got a little late, and they had all these big, like 10 person tabletops pushed all the way to the side so there could be a dance floor and all of that stuff. So behind all of those tables, I see Gary Shandling standing there by himself. Maybe one other person.
Yeah.
And I'm like drunk. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to say hello.
Oh, I have
Gary
that impulse every fucking time.
This is the last time I ever did it. So I fucking start going over there. And dude, when I'm telling you, it was like going through thorn bushes, trying to step over all of these chairs and these tables, trying to get through it. It should have dawned on me. If he's all the way over here, he wants to be left alone.
Yeah.
So I finally get all the way over, and I see him kind of eyeballing me as I'm stepping over the chairs like a drunk idiot. Philip Seymour Hoffman, fucking idiot, right?
Fucking stupid. I'm so fucking stupid.
Fucking idiot. Yeah. So I get up to him. When I get up to him, the music is so loud he can't hear me. I come up to him perpendicular, and I stick my hand out like this, so it's kind of near his stomach. And he thought I was trying to get by as I was going, Gary, I'm a huge fan. I just wanted to say you're an inspiration. He can't hear any of that. He just sees my hand goes out, and he kind of goes like this, like I'm trying to get by. And then I was all bleary, like, no, what I was trying to say is that, and I just see him look at me. I can't even remember what he said. And then I had to turn around and climb back over the fucking chairs. I think I was just muttering, I hate myself. I hate myself. On a fucking loop. It was, and I was just like, I am never doing that again. I really thought about it. I was like, this is Adam's party. This is one of these things. These guys like him get bugged all the time, And
yeah.
Just everybody just be fucking cool. Say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and keep it fucking moving. And I came in, like, the only thing I could have done worse is if I handed him a script. I mean, it's my first script. You could just read it and give me some feedback. That was the only thing I could have done worse. And I had to watch Gary Shandling stuff for about 10 years, intermittently before the memory started to fade, because I would start to watch his stuff.
Oh.
And it would come back up again. But Judd's documentary, Judd Apatow's amazing documentary, put the whole thing to bed again, because I got to see him as like a person. Oh, and then I realized how private he was and all of that as I was watching it. I just kept thinking, oh my God, I am the worst. It was awful.
But you're someone that people, there are probably 100 comics that probably feel like they have that story with you.
And I don't think so, dude, because I like to think that I love new comics. And I'm not stupid either, because I know that as I keep getting older, they're going to be running the castle, and I'm going to need to play an old dad or a grandfather. So older comics, two things, older comics that treat younger comics like you're beneath me, fuck you. Not only is that just a shitty human-to-human thing to do, but also, even if you're just a fucking asshole, you should at least fake it, because it's bad business, because you're going to be working for them.
Yeah.
This business is youth-oriented.
But
I say that right.
You are someone that, like, I remember we were eating breakfast one time, and that guy came up. I remember I did a joke. He came up. He's like, I hate to bother you guys. And I remember going like, I know, I get it all the time. And he did not know who I was. And he was shaking. And he was like, Bill Burr, I just want to say you're the voice of our generation. And thank you so much. And you're like, thanks, man. Like you get people, not just comics, you get people coming up to you like saying, they have so much in their head they want to say to you. I've seen it happen when we went to an XFL game, and it's like I get the machine. It's in and out. Like I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're like, dude,
you do your specials without your shirt on, man. You're accessible.
Yeah, but people come up to you and they start to tell you their story the way you go to Gary Shandling or I do to Sandler. Where they're like,
no.
Oh, Dude, I
No,
wonder how many people.
I like meeting people. Listen, my thing, as long as you're not blind drunk,
Yeah.
dirty or sweaty hands, who the fuck wants that up on him?
But
Nobody.
Shanley wasn't
But
rude to you, was he? He was just like didn't know how to.
no, he didn't know what it was, but he had that look on his face where I kind of got a window into what it was like to be him.
Oh,
His
okay.
level of fame and being just one of the best who ever did it. And it was kind of like, I felt like I walked up to Larry Bird in the locker room at like the Olympic All-Star game, and he's hanging with his Magic and Jordan and all that. And somehow I snuck in with the big number one finger in the beer cup glasses. Like, I mean, at that point, it's like, I should have been thrown out of the business. I mean, I was in the business, dude. At that point, that was like late 2000, 2009, 2010. So I've been in the business 17, 18 years. There was no excuse for that behavior.
But wait, where were you in the business? Now let's
I had done a failed pilot with Comedy Central.
How many what special are we on right here? Are you on Netflix yet?
Yeah, I just done my second hour.
Okay, and then hair or no hair?
Ooh, is that part of the equation? I like
it. Yeah.
I believe hair clean shaven.
Oh, really? Okay.
Wow, your whole energy just changed when you pictured me with hair and a beard.
Well, yeah.
Wow. I remember that guy.
I remember, yeah. I'm debating on whether to go clean shaven right now. I feel like I want to get a haircut, but I don't. It's just like stringy and disgusting.
Well, I've been joking on my podcast that if you're gonna shave your head, now's the time to do it.
Brian Callen shaved his. Did you see it?
No, he's got a good head.
It looks great, but Brendan Schaub could not stop laughing at him and just said he looks like a failed tennis ball.
Oh man. No, he'll pull it off. He's got a smaller head. I got a big head. He's got a small head, and he's in incredible shape.
Yeah, I thought he looked good. I was thinking about shaving mine, but I have a really big head, and my hairline's way back here. Do you remember? Do you remember before Bobby shaved his head? His hairline was back.
No, he was one of those guys like me. He was losing it back here.
Oh, for real? I thought he was losing it up here.
No, I think it was back. Well, I mean, then what happens is then it starts. If you have it up here, like that's a slow thing. But if you have it back here, then it starts here. I always compare Hitler when he started fucking with Russia and England. He was fighting a war on two fronts. It's just next thing you know, you're in the bunker.
I just saw 1917.
Oh my! How amazing was that?
I know that's a different war, but holy shit. That I just saw 1917 and then did all the research. I had not paid attention to how horrific World War I was.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't get the respect it deserves. It's like it's if you're gonna go like AC/DC albums, World War I is like the flick of the switch for those Power Age, for those about to rock. Sort of didn't get mainstream. World War II was Back in Black. Shook Me All Night Long, Tom Brokaw, Greatest Generation.
Dewey Selman versus Leroy Selman. Dewey Selman was an amazing defensive back, but his brother had the sacks, so you remembered Leroy Selman.
Oh, his brother was a defensive back?
Yeah, Dewey Selman, and he had sickle cell anemia.
Oh, he died?
I remember my dad explaining to me what sickle cell anemia was. I was like, oh, yeah. So did Leroy Selman died too. When I was a kid, must have been like 6 years old, and my dad walked me through sickle cell anemia, and it's a horrible disease.
You were 6 years old. He walked you through that.
I remember. I learned two things at Buck games: never have M&Ms and chewing tobacco, because my dad, this kid had chewing tobacco and was eating M&Ms. My dad was like, "Buddy, this isn't gonna end well." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
he's like,
he's swallowing the juice.
Yeah, and he threw up all next to me, and my dad's like, "Called it." Just got up and we walked out. And my dad walked me through sickle cell anemia, like told me about the disease.
Dude, I got to be honest with you. I love your dad. Dude, you know how cool that is to go, called it?
Called it. Let's go. Get out of here, buddy. Come on. Yeah, I remember the first Bucks win. I remember. It's so funny, man, those memories you have. I was laying in bed tonight going, I'm getting old. Like, one day, like I'm at the age now where I feel like every time someone says an age, they're younger than me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Bert, I'm older than you.
Yeah.
What happens when I ask you how old you are? Now, dude, you got to that's like the thing that I learned that I was able to turn my brain around because I was really, really fucking negative.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm cynical with my act or whatever, but like, I root for people. I want people to be successful. I want to be okay. I'm not like how sometimes people may perceive me. But when I was in my 20s, my 30s to mid 30s, I bottomed out, and I had to like read all of these, these books. Your Word is Your Wand. This comedian Tony Moschetto told me about that book, and I really started paying attention to what my brain was telling me. I had this really weird thing where like the long game, I was like, I'm gonna make it and I'm all right. But every little fucking step, getting groceries, there's gonna be no parking spots, and then I won't be able to get groceries, and then I'll be running out of gas. I was catastrophizing, I guess is what they call it in therapy world. I was doing that all the time. And now I just kept working on it and working on it. I was able to turn it around. And I feel to actually become who I was supposed to be before all the bullshit happened when I was a kid. And I was actually talking to my wife, Nia, today, about 20 years, I'll be 71, 72, getting ready to retire. And it made me a little depressed. And then I just immediately attached like 10 positive things I could think about of being that age, and that, that I could just get myself out of it. Cause it's kind of like, if you're not clinically depressed, then you just sort of like habitually bummed out is what I had.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, sort of a beaten down person. I find that like when those thoughts come in, you can be like, all right, am I going to let that thing get around my neck and take me down to the bottom of the lagoon for 2-3 days, couple of weeks, put on 15 pounds, not write any jokes? Or am I going to go work out? Am I going to go play play with my daughter, get something healthy to eat, watch a comedy, like, or do something? Dude, make the bed. That video on YouTube where the Admiral says, get up and you make the bed. I've been doing that lately during the pandemic. It makes me feel great. I don't know what the fuck it is. You make your bed and you come in. When you get in it, the sheets feel cooler, crisper. I don't know what it is, as opposed to getting there. Bed. Huh?
I think I've seen this. Make your bed.
Yeah, he gave this whole speech. I didn't watch any of it. I just saw all his awards, and he goes, you get up in the morning, you make your bed. And I was like, all right, I've seen enough.
Oh, I showed Isla. Jocko Willink? I'm messing his last name. He's friends with Rogan.
Jocko Pastoria?
No, Jocko. No.
Is he a Floridian?
Who?
Jocko Pastorius? Is that his name?
I thought he was South America. The guy that shot his girlfriend?
One of the best bass players ever.
Oh, my God. You want to talk about how far away we are from the original subject? I'm thinking of Oscar Pistorius, who shot his girlfriend. I thought that's who you were talking about.
Oh, the guy with the sickles.
Yeah, the sickles.
The sickle legs. That was one of my favorite jokes. Nick DiPaolo said that he's all set when he goes to prison. He doesn't need to make a shank. He's got two hanging on his feet. His legs.
No. Jocko.
How the fuck did he get away with that?
He got away with it?
I thought he did.
Yeah, I think he did. I'm trying to remember.
I thought it was a robber, and you thought he locked himself in your bathroom? Bullshit. He chased her in there, and she was screaming, no, 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 and he shot her through the fucking door. And let her bleed out. That's what I think.
Someone told me about Jim Jeffries has a joke about Oscar Pistorius, and he was like, and I forget, I wish I could remember who it was. And they're like, this is my favorite joke. And he's doing it it's like we're at the Improv, and it's on the screen on the TV. I wish I could remember who I was with. I always say it was Segur or someone, but like someone I respect was like, this is my favorite joke. And I said, why? And as they say that, and by the way, my memory is shady, but Jim Jeffries does an impression of Oscar Pistorius dragging himself across the floor with no legs. He goes, he's basically just making fun of handicapped people, but he's getting a pass because this guy murdered his girlfriend. And I was like, and I watched it, and Jim Jeffries going,
Jim Jeffries is he's on a whole other level.
Dude, he is so good. Like, what I love about Jim Jeffries, the same thing I love about you is like, it's like you guys are on your own path. Like there's an old thing about that I heard that if you see the path in the forest, then that means other people are taking the path and you're on the wrong path. That you need to carve your own path through the woods, and so that you need to be stepping on grass and making your own path. And I love that. I love that. It's scary as fuck when you really try to make your own path and go, I got to not listen to what everyone's telling me and do my own thing. Because sometimes you look like a jackass, you know?
Oh yeah.
But it's what
Been
I
there.
you go Jim Jeffries, it's almost like Doug Stanhope. You guys are so definitively on your own paths in this business, in this journey.
Those guys like the two that I saw that were on their own path and I got inspiration from was in the late 90s when I was doing the road. I don't give a fuck where I went, how obscure it was. Doug Stanhope and Mitch Hedberg had either just been there or were coming there or whatever. And they were the only two guys that I saw that wanted to do the road the way I wanted to, that saw the whole romance, Jack Kerouac bullshit of it, of like, you know, like when all the autobiographies that I read about comedians, it wasn't about when they did the Tonight Show. It was about when they were doing a one-nighter in El Paso, Texas, and a group of bikers came in or something crazy happened, and the adventures that they had like out on the road and stuff. And I'll tell you, as much as I try to enjoy life in the moment and stuff, like I kind of realized like I had like this last decade, I had this great moment in my life on the road, and it just went by so fucking quick. And now we're all older. You know, Verzi's headlining now, so we don't get to work together. My buddy Lawhead got married. He's down in San Diego doing sports radio and all that stuff. And like, I stopped drinking and smoking cigars. There was this period, dude, where we were just beating the shit out of our livers and doing killer shows. I was like 20 pounds heavier. And we like every night was like the greatest night we had on the road. And I was just texting with Lawhead and Verzi, and I was saying, I think the pinnacle night we had on the road, we were doing the Tabernacle in Atlanta, which is, yeah, that place is, you just go in there. There's something about that place where you're like, it's like, this is what I did all the work for, was to be able to play a place like this in a city like this, in front of a crowd like this. So it just so happened they were filming Anchorman 2. And I knew David Koechner through doing stand-up. Yeah. So he said, come on down to the set. This was all one day. Come down to the set. We're shooting. I went down there, met Paul Rudd, and they were shooting a scene, and Will Ferrell was there, and he stayed in character when he met us. And he just, like, all of them were just fucking the best guys ever. And then later on that night, Paul Rudd and Koechner came out to the show.
Really?
And I had a tour bus, and we were hanging out. We had a couple of shots. Everybody feeling good. I waited till after the show. We went out. Everybody fucking murdered. Paul and Koechner stood on the side of the stage, watched the show. So generous, we're laughing. And then in the end, we were telling them what big fans we were. We get on the bus, and we had like Goodfellas on DVD, and we had Anchorman. And I saw Paul elbow Dave, and he pointed to it. Could see like this wasn't bullshit. And we just hung out for the whole night, telling stories, laughing our asses off, drinking beers, doing shots. And the night ended, and I think then we got it in the bus, and we did it overnight, because I didn't realize that you paid overtime.
Yeah.
And we got in the bus, and then we drove all the way out. No, that was when we were coming from Alabama. I think we just ended the night on the tour bus, and it was right outside the stage. I
know that. It's off to the side in the parking lot. I know.
Yeah, and we had Cuban cigars, or probably what we thought were Cubans, but in our head they were Cuban cigars. And it was perfect weather. I remember no jacket, nothing. And we had a couple of lawn chairs sitting outside the bus and just telling stories and laughing until like 3 or 4 in the morning. And all I remember the next day was paying for it, because, I was kind of dragging ass the next day. So I was thinking about the hangover, and like, we just texted about it yesterday or 2 days ago. And I was like, you know what? I think that was the high watermark as far as on the road, the gig, the hang, the group of people, it was just, and like last decade was, I don't know, as you get older, it goes faster. So last decade was just a friggin' blur, but it was fun.
I feel like I'm in the middle of that. I'm in the middle of having fun on the road right now. And I'm trying to look at this quarantine as not like, hey, you're taking some of my fun away. I feel like I'm extending my life. I'm getting to slow down for the first time in forever. I haven't drank in 21 days, no cigars,
Awesome. Good
no
for
weed.
you.
I feel good. I ran 7 miles this morning. I feel like I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see if I can run a marathon today throughout the day.
Dude, do you realize how funny it would be if you got in ridiculous shape? Then you do your next special,
Just
and
rip.
then you take your shirt off, totally ripped. Now you're not relatable anymore. Your whole audience be this fucking asshole. What do you think? You're gonna be the next Brad Pitt at 40, whatever the fuck you are, you know?
What's up with kettlebells, huh, guys?
Yeah. Because you know when you're on your last set of squats, you won't be relatable at all.
all my all my references are like, and I walk in and my wife's looking at me the way that a squat rack looks at you when you walk in. You know what I'm talking about, right, guys? Pat McAfee and AJ. You know AJ Hawk?
AJ Hawk. No, that's a fucking action hero name from like,
Oh shit,
that's
right?
like a movie name.
Pat McAfee.
AJ Hawk.
AJ Hawk has a podcast called the Hawkcast. He used to play for the Packers and linebacker for the Packers, long blonde hair, ponytail. You remember him. If you saw a
Well, the
picture
guy
of,
I'm thinking about got traded to another team who had the long blonde hair, was always sacking people for the Packers.
might be AJ Hawk. He might have gotten traded. But anyway, we were on a chat thread this morning and Segura and AJ said, I said, I'm getting on my treadmill. And AJ Hawk just this is right in my wheelhouse. He goes, got a buddy that tried to run 50 miles in 24 hours. You think you could do that, Bert? And Bill, I start doing the math. I go, okay, 50 miles.
In
50 miles.
24 hours? That's
24 hours.
like, that's more than 2 miles in an hour.
It's way, yeah, well, yeah, obviously. But
Well, if you're up for 24 hours.
No, it's going to be 15 hours of running. That's what I look at it. 15 hours of running. So you just got to go 6 in the morning, 6 at night, and then push it until as long as you can go.
Bert, don't do that.
I'm going to do it.
Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to go to Costco and get a giant vat of Vaseline, and you need to just do the whole undercarriage because your balls don't their balls get chafed just running a marathon?
Yeah, no, you put Glide on the Glide stuff they have. There's no chafing whatsoever. We were when I ran the LA Marathon, I ran it with Jesus Trejo. Do you know Jesus Trejo?
I love Jesus. You ran the marathon, dude. That's amazing.
I ran the LA Marathon with no training. I'd said to Rogan I could do it, and he was like, "You can't do it." And I was like, "I definitely can do it." And Ari, him, and John, and Tom were all like, "You can't do it." And then they were like throwing out times that I couldn't beat. And I was like, "I can do it, no training." So I went out, no training, ran the LA Marathon.
What does no training mean? You weren't even
Like
jogging?
didn't train for a marathon. I just went out and did it. Like
What did you run it in? Like 7 hours, 6 hours?
5 hours and 33 minutes.
Dude, that's a killer time.
It's not. Well, it's not. Oprah did it in like 4:20 or something. But she trained for it.
Yeah, but she has billionaire sneakers, dude.
I did it with just willpower. I just said, I will be in this spot moving forward. I will put one foot in front of the other foot for the next 5 hours, 6 hours. That's it. That's all I did. I just said, it was amazing how once you decide you're not going anywhere but here's where you're going to be for the next 6 hours. And this is what we'll do for the next 6 hours. It's amazing how it doesn't fuck with your head. You just kind of go, so this is it, this is where we're going to be. But the funny part of this is they give out food and drinks throughout the marathon. So we're in Silver Lake running downhill, Rage Against the Machines in my headsets. Jesus is next to me, and I say to him, Jesus probably trained as little as I did, and I beat him. Jesus, I go, if they give you anything, eat it or drink it. Like, don't think like, oh, I'm good. Whatever they give you, just take it. He went, really? I said, 100%. And I see someone with a tongue depressor full of Vaseline to put on your nipples. Jesus grabs it into his
Oh no!
like it's got no flavor.
Oh God.
I'm crying, laughing, like coughing. I'm laughing so hard, going, Jesus, you're not supposed to eat that. He goes, you told me to eat everything.
What was it, like mile 16 or 17?
No, it wasn't. No, probably mile 6.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah,
I
mile
guess. I don't
13.
know.
Mile 13 was the Comedy Store.
What was it like when you came up the hill or down the hill or on the straight and you saw the finish line?
That was on the PCH. It was
Did you
beautiful.
cry?
Oh, my kid, I'll cry telling you about it. My kids, my wife and my kids were on the PCH. They were cheering for me. I ran past them and I just started punching it. You go down, I want to say it's San Vicente, but you go down and you hit the PCH and
Oh
you
my
turn
God.
left, and it was like ocean wind in your face. My wife and kids, and I'm Instagramming stories, just I'm doing it. Cross the finish line. Everyone knew. I mean, like, I put it out so much on social media that there were people on the street going, "The machine!" Ice cold waters. The machine. People dressed in machine shirts.
Oh,
with
that's
guitars,
awesome.
playing, come on, I got you, Bert, playing electric guitar with 1 amp. Dude, it was so cool, Bill. So many people were waiting on the side, signs for me. And then when I run, I see my wife and daughters. My wife and daughters are like, I can't believe you fucking did this. Like, I left at like 4 a.m, 5 a.m. They were sound asleep. I just left. I'm running. My wife's texting me. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm doing great. I passed them. I crossed the finish line. Maybe one of the greatest feelings I've ever had. And this kid, all the kids are handing out medals. And he goes, I can't believe I get to do this. Puts it over and he goes, congratulations, machine. You have the Mickey Mantle gene. And I was like, I'm bawling. They put a fucking blanket on me. It was the greatest, man. It was
That's
so
awesome.
great. And immediately I couldn't walk. Like, the second I stopped running, I could not walk.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how messed up were you and for how long?
I was messed up pretty bad for about 2 weeks. Like, the next day I couldn't get out of bed.
2 weeks?
2 weeks. I ended up gaining a bunch of weight because I couldn't do anything. I mean, I remember getting stuck on the toilet. I went to take a shit and I couldn't get up off the toilet like the next day.
How much weight did you lose? Were you able to step on the scale?
I gained 6 pounds.
Running a marathon.
Because I ate everything. I ate everything they gave me. So it was like burned even amounts of calories. And then I get back and I'm like, fucking pizza, beers.
I'm saying, did you step on the scale after you ran it?
I stepped on the scale before I ran it, and I stepped off the scale and I gained weight after the marathon, not even eating pizzas. Leanne got me a tall boy for the ride home, like a beer. So I drank a beer for the ride home.
You're lucky you didn't fucking die. If you didn't train, and she probably should have been giving you something to replenish your fluids, not something that's going to make you dehydrated.
I partied so hard the night before too. I went out, and then I kept bragging.
How old were you?
It was like 2 years ago, 45.
Dude, that's an amazing story. That was really like a reckless. You took a chance there, man.
It was very reckless. I kept saying to people, I didn't train for this. Like, we're at the beginning line. I'm with Jesus, and I got my phone out. I'm like, how long did you train? The guy's like, 12 weeks. I did a 12-week program. And I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, how about you? And I just going, I didn't. He's like, what? And I said, I didn't. He's like, what did you do? I said, I took a shit before this, and that's about it.
Did you laugh?
Yeah, everyone was laughing. They're like, you're not going to make it. And I was like, well, we'll see. And it wasn't as hard. The hardest part was running down Sepulveda. Like, because I don't even like driving down Sepulveda. And so, like, Sepulveda is just a shit street right next to the 405. And I saw this grown woman in front of me at mile probably 20, 22, 21, shit her pants.
I was going to say, did she oh, poor thing.
She had like yoga pants type on, like tight pants on. And she shit, and it looked like a Band-Aid had fallen down and up. It happened, and I saw it come out, like press out, like when water pushes through cotton, and then go down and up.
It had some force. It had some velocity.
Yeah, and
what happened was it hit. It was almost like blood splatter, except it was shit. Now, let me ask you this: did she keep going?
Kept going.
You got to marry that girl. Okay, that is a keeper. Anybody can run 12 miles and shit themselves and get into a fucking, you know, a little fucking, whatever, those minivans and quit. Somebody who's going to keep going. Come on. That's some William Wallace shit.
They were everyman. People were falling off like it was what's the movie TV show that shoots in Atlanta? The Walking Dead. People were just falling off on Sepulveda right before. I want to say right before San Vicente. I think that might be Santa Monica was the road that we ran down, but right before we took the left. And once you take the left, it's one of those streets. It's got a median on it, and it's like one side goes one way, one side goes the other, and it goes right to the PCH. Right before we banged left, it was like 22 miles, and everyone started like cramping, legs freezing, falling off to the side. Everyone, and that's when my legs, my quads started spasming, and I was like, "Oh, I understand why you train for it now. Is like your muscles aren't ready for this kind of stress. Like they're just going like, I don't know what to do." And so they started spasming, and I went, "Oh, now I know why you train for it."
Wow, man, that's amazing. I think in my younger days I wanted to do that, but did I tell you the other day I tried to skip rope for the first time in forever?
Yeah, you did. What?
First of all, I had completely lost the hand-eye coordinate, whatever the hell it was. It was like I had never done it, and it was like God had turned up the gravity on Earth, and I just couldn't jump high enough to get this little ass fucking rope underneath me, and it took me like 3 rounds. 3 rounds to finally get a little thing going. And then the next day, dude, my Achilles, my ankles, my feet, the arches of my feet for like 5 days. And I was just like, all right, got it. Not jumping rope ever again. I'm too old to jump rope. I don't want to get my feet and ankles back into shape to be able to do it at my age, because I don't know what it's going to do to my knees and hips. So I've kind of had to get out of my ego with the working out thing and be like, all right, your bench pressing days are over, skipping rope, pretending like you're going to be the next middleweight champion. You're not. You're just a dumb dad. So I have to do like, you know, like yoga, stretching, and just sort of like body weight exercises that is not too intense.
What would you ever do if a doctor said to you, "Hey, I can increase your testosterone"? Would you do it?
No, I don't do that. I would do the thing. I'm toying with the idea of doing the shoulder thing where they spin your blood, because I'm really going slow with this thing with the look at my fucking shirt keeps cutting in and out here. Sorry. My with rotator cuff, the problem is the second you lift your arm, that's when it engages. It's that first like 30 degrees. So that's why like literally reaching for a salt shaker can set it back. So, you know, I just graduated from a tuna can to a can of clams. That's a little bit heavier, laying on my side, going like this, and then fucking doing this. And then like my goal, I just want to get back to, I have this 1 pound pink weight. It's pink, Bert. I got to that. And then what happened was I went, oh, I'm doing the 1 pound thing, 15 reps. Then I moved to 2 pounds, the light purple, the Prince weight, right? 2 pounder. Yeah. But what I didn't realize is mathematically, I just increased the weight load by 100%.
Yeah.
It's like you're benching 100 pounds, now bench 200 pounds, except it's 1 pound to 2 pound. But with your rotator cuff, that's enough to set you back 6 fucking weeks. And you have to start all over again doing wall crawlers with your fucking hand. It's been, and for someone like me who has no fucking patience, brains, and whatever else that you need, it's like, I mean, I would rather be back in fucking geometry class, which to this day, I completely don't understand.
Hey, how did you hurt your rotator cuff in the first place?
Learning how to lift weights from friends in the 80s. And all it was benching, curling, doing these shoulder shrugs, and doing this. Never did your back. So up here was way stronger than back there. So it pulled my shoulder. A lot of guys, you'll see older guys, their shoulders are bowed in. Then my spine's a little curved, so it was up like that. So it's just inevitable it was going to get pinched. And I bought this whole home gym, and I got it in my head 5 years ago. I'm going to fucking be able to do the combine 225 again. Once in my life, I put up 225.
Yeah.
Total 80s mentality. Dude, that's when you got 245 plates on both sides.
Oh.
And then my buddy who I lifted with, He liked the 3. He goes, when you get to 3, he's like, dude, he's like that when the bar starts to bend. That's when it starts to bend, right? So we were in that mindset. So I went back to that, like a lot of middle-aged guys do, where it's just like you're trying to, am I the guy who's going to defeat Father Time? So I got downstairs. I went into the garage, had this whole killer, fucking gleaming, brand new weights. And I took it off the rack. I don't even know. It was like 115 pounds. And I already fucked up my shoulder a little bit. I brought it down and it felt like someone took a saw. It was just like, and I was just like, but I was in young guy mentality. I was like, well, do a couple more reps. Maybe that'll work itself out. And I and I was like, what the fuck? And then I just stopped. And the next day I woke up and like, I reached for a t-shirt and like the weight of the t-shirt in my hand, I was like, yeah. And I'd already fucked it up. And then sort of like, just by just doing shit like this, was able to work myself out. And then I really fucked it up. And then it took me like a year and a half to do that one. And I'm like a year, and then this one gave out. And I was and I didn't know how to rehab them. So I babied them, and then I got frozen shoulder.
Frozen shoulder is the fucking worst.
Well, here's what you do to get out of it, is what I did. Now, don't fucking listen to me because I don't want to get sued. My daughter was at the park. We were on the swing set. And I finally realized that wasn't rotator cuff pain. That was just, it's all schmutzed up. So I just took this arm, I put it up with my other hand, and I just grabbed onto the top of the swing set. And then I just was slowly walking forward, just going, making noises. And everyone was looking at me like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I got frozen. Like, I would literally get out of breath.
Yeah.
It was a weird thing because it didn't hurt enough to take your breath away, but there was something about the nervy kind of pain of it that I was like, it was the worst.
Oh.
And I just did that stupid Irish fucking guy thing. Well, I'm just going to fucking plow my way through it. Now, yeah, so I wouldn't do the testosterone thing. I'm worried. I think I watched Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde too many times. And I think whatever I have in me, I have too much of, that works on a comedy stage, but does not work in the rest of my life. Like, dude, I fucking cursed out a guy today at the fucking gas station, and he knew I was doing it. Because he had the audacity to get there first and park, and I go, you're going to do it, aren't you, you fucking motherfucker? You can see my mouth going, fucking. And he was just looking at me. He had his mask down like this. Then I got out. I had my mask on. I had the gloves on, the whole fucking thing. It was the first time I got gas during the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah. My wife's got a fancy car, so it takes the good shit, and it was still like barely $3 a gallon.
Has Nia left much?
No.
She probably hasn't left at all, huh?
No, not much. Like, we'll go on drives and stuff, and but like, like every 2 to 3 days. I'm really trying to be like, I really got a lot out of that marathon story we just said, that like the fact that people came out, the guy with the guitar and the amp, it's like, that's the part of humanity that I try to focus on during all of this. Like, I want people to like kind of use this thing to like, as a way to come together, which is why I don't watch the news and I try to stay away from politics, because I don't want to listen to one more fucking idiot telling me that they don't like Trump or that he mishandled the thing and yada, yada, yada. It's like, okay, but now the information's out there. Now we know what we need to do. Just do what they say. But the problem is this, you got conspiracy theorists, you got people who handle stress, they get in their ego. Oh, dude, it's not that big a deal. You got young people behaving how I would have behaved. Like those kids at spring break. I just looked at it like that's not their fault. That's bad parenting, because they should be too scared to do that.
Yeah, I would have done that. I talked to my dad about it, and he said, that would have been you, right? And I went, no. And he goes, no, yeah, it definitely would have been you. And
you would have gone on camera?
Oh, Bill, yeah.
If I went on camera, my dad, just his breathing before he laid into me would be enough of an ask. Not like my dad ever hit me or anything like that. It just like I wouldn't want to deal with it, dude. I left my water over here. Hang on a second. Let me
Go
grab
ahead.
it. I'm back.
Yeah, I would definitely would have. I was not the person that saw. To this day, I was hiking in up at Fryman where I usually go hiking, and there was this girl out doing news reports, and she was her and her cameraman and a sound guy, and they were just from the news. I was on TV for 9 years straight at Travel Channel. I have no interest on being on TV. I could not. It was like a fucking moth to a flame. I walked over to the camera. I said, "What are you guys shooting?" She goes, "We're doing an interview about sunglasses. Would you like to talk to me?" And I went, I actually love sunglasses. I'd love to talk to you. And I gave her
Did you go up hoping she was going to recognize you? Like, oh, yeah,
no.
Bert Kreischer from the Travel Channel.
No, I didn't even think that far through. I just walked over like, what do you guys?
That makes it even better.
Yeah.
The fact that you love being on TV that much and you miss it, that you're going to be that guy in the because whenever I watch those local news thing, I'm like, who would fucking stop to talk about how much it's been raining? Oh, it's really been coming down. Our drains are filling up in the driveway. It's like, who the fuck has the time to do that?
Bro, I gave her the best interview she's ever had in her entire life. She asked one question. All she said was, so do you wear sunglasses a lot when you go outside? That's all she needed to give me. I moved myself out of dappled light because we were under a tree. I moved myself where the light was hitting my face so that you could see that I was wearing sunglasses. And then I answered, I grew up in Florida. I know about UV protection. I've been wearing sunglasses to a kid. I told her a funny story. When I was a kid, I used to squint a lot. And my dad's like, what the fuck's wrong with this kid? And then he took me to an eye doctor. The eye doctor goes, he's got blue eyes. I lift up my glasses, electric blue. Bill, I gave her such an interview. I talked straight for probably 8 minutes. And then I complimented the progressiveness that they had a black female camera person. And I was like, and then I walked off and went on a hike. They walked away like, who the fuck was that guy? And then a month later, I start getting emails from fans in South Carolina. And they're like, hey, man, I'm watching the news. You're on the 5 o'clock news talking about sunglasses.
I would have blown it off. That's amazing. I am the exact opposite of that. As you can tell, if my overhead, who has overhead lighting when they got a bald head? This guy. It looked like I just got back from a workout.
Yeah, I am that guy to a T. To a T. And what's crazy is when I was on TV and people go, what are you guys shooting? I get annoyed. And then one day I realized I'm a hypocrite because if I see a camera or if I see them set up and they're a bunch of, honey trucks or honey wagons, whatever they're called, or star coaches lined up on a street and they're shooting at a house, I always want to know what it is. I always want to go, what are you guys shooting? Should I know you?
Yeah, you know what I do when I see those honey wagons? I go, oh man, those poor people just sitting in there waiting for their call time. How much longer is it going to be? Just one more setup.
I love it.
I mean, that's what, when I watched that movie 1917, aside from just being blown away visually, how they shot that thing. Let me tell you something, dude, how hard those people worked on that. Can you imagine the pre-production on that thing? Figuring out how you were going to shoot that and saying action and there's 100 extras running out. And then you have to stay on the main characters and just, I mean, dude, that looked like drone footage of World War I. Half of that shit. Like, it was amazing.
It was spectacular. I didn't realize Isla's the one that pointed out, like, we're watching that first thing of them getting up and walking to go see the general. And Isla goes, they haven't switched cameras. And I went, what? She goes, this is one shot. And now I'm watching going, this is one shot. Now, obviously, it's not one continuous shot through the whole movie.
Yeah, there's ways. A lot of times they'll have somebody that passes in front of the camera like I just did there.
Yeah.
My fucking hand.
But
it's Hollywood magic.
Bill Burr shooting 1917. And then I said to him, hold on one second.
Yeah, let's just say it wouldn't have ended up at the award shows if I shot that thing. I am amazed, though, at like directing. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be able to sit fucking back here with this stupid thing. I am amazed at like the patience that people have editing and like I almost lose my mind writing.
Yeah.
Like, I just get like, I don't have any, like, I will fight for a joke. And then about 3 minutes later, it's like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Put my character in a dress. Can we just move on to the next scene? I want to get out of here. I just want to get out of here. Look how beautiful it is out. How do you guys have the fucking discipline to keep sitting here? And then, you know, you watch as they're like shooting whatever you're doing, you know, and as long as that process is, you got to understand that somebody has to sit down and watch all of those fucking takes.
Yeah.
Bert, your ride is here. 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 Imagine that for fucking hours on end. Going, is that thing? He kind of mumbled it. He had his hand up by his face. Does this move the story? Do you want to be here? Do you want to be out like this? It's just like, oh my God, fucking kill me.
Yeah.
Kill me.
I couldn't. I used to do a vlog, and when I would do a vlog, I would shoot a bunch of stuff, and then I go to edit it, and I started learning the less I shot, the better the vlog was, because the more I shot, I just was like overwhelmed by it, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just look at what I got anyway. I would take whatever I saw. I'd be like, that'll work.
That was like the old Comedy Centrals when you get the half hour.
Yeah.
They would say do at least 26 minutes. And I'd see guys do 50 minutes and like, why would you do that? Now they're gonna take 50 minutes and slam it down. I did, what's the least I can do? That's what I did. And then they just took 1 4-minute bit out in my special. I mean, I would say it's a great special, but it flowed as opposed to like I know the guys, the more time guys did, the less they liked their special because they had zero input. You know, we were all new guys back then.
God, man,
it was a different game. Hey, it was a different game back then. See?
Do you remember when you do a joke and they'd cut to commercial? I mean, like, think about that now. Can you imagine them taking your special and just cutting to commercial, and then people come back 2 minutes later and go, wait, what was he talking about? Oh, that's right.
You know what the worst thing was? Was the year I went in, I did it. They had, I'll never forget it, the promos, they had you sitting on a stool doing all this wacky shit to the thing. And in the background, they just had a trumpet that went, bow. That was literally, you suck. I mean, that's what it just sounded like. It was just like, what the fuck? I just remember thinking that, like, how is this the fucking, it was under a different management because I feel like Comedy Central has come around again. But back then, they were just so churning it out. It's like that trumpet to me was like, you don't even understand. I don't think you even respect stand-up comedy. That we need like a wacky instrument sound, and it was a muted trumpet.
Yeah.
I know everybody watching now is probably going to go fucking Google that and send that to me a zillion times. Remember that? And then they go,
I remember not getting a half hour, doing like premium blend, not getting a half hour, and taking it so personal, and like thinking they must hate me. Like they must, like I submitted, they must really hate me, not realizing that there was only 11 people that were going to get it, and they kind of already knew who the 11 were before they even needed to look at tapes. They didn't really need to look at tapes. I didn't know that. And then I did a show for them on on Comedy Central called Reality Bites Back, right? It was me, Amy Schumer, Mo Mandel, Donnell Rollins, Red Grant, Theo Vaughn, Tiffany Haddish. It was an amazing
monster cast.
I know. I can't believe they're not doing reruns. Anyway, I do the show. The show didn't do well, but I did well on the show. And I remember being like in my bathroom upstairs going, I wonder if they're going to notice me. And as I said that, the phone rang and I answered it. And I got from 2 different people at Comedy Central, I got offered an hour special and a half hour special on like within the same 5 minutes. And I went, wait, so this has no rhyme or reason to like there was, and they were like, do both. It doesn't matter. Do both. And I remember being like, so it doesn't, like, it had nothing to do with submitting tapes. Like, no one hated me. No one even knew who the fuck I was. And it was like,
they just wanted content.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, here I've been having a personal battle with people that don't know who I am. Like having a one-sided fight in my head with people that have never heard of me.
No, I've done that. Everybody does that after a while. Hey, you know what, Bert? You're being too hard on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. If this pandemic goes for a whole year, hopefully it doesn't, you're going to be a year sober, no cigars, no weed. Do you
Oh,
come
yeah.
out of this a newborn, shredded Bert Kreischer?
Oh, yeah. I'm talking. I might become a motivational speaker. I might.
Dude, I got the diet. I paid for it. I'll pass the recipes on to you.
Really?
I've dropped 10 pounds. I started it before all this bullshit. Well, I mean, the bullshit was going on, but no one was taking it seriously. I started in the first week of March, and I'm down like 10 pounds.
Wow. Were you telling me about it last week where you're saying like it feels good when you eat clean?
Well, yeah, I try to avoid saying eating clean
What?
because I am. Well, first of all, I'm eating a lot of vegetables and stuff, but God, I mean, I do a lazy job of washing those things off. So I'm probably better to be eating a cow that ate another cow with the amount of fucking carcinogens I've consumed. But it's great for the stomach. But no, I'm sort of doing like the prison workout and just eating really well, and that's it. And then like once every 3 days, like yesterday in the rain, I fucking I went for a hike just around my neighborhood. It's not a hike unless you're in the dirt. So I'm just walking along the street. So I
Yeah.
got my mask on and shit, and it's pouring down, raining out, and I broke the screen on my phone like months ago. And I had an acting gig, so I didn't have time to get it, and now I can't get it fixed. So I kept taking it out to select a new song, not realizing there's cracks in the screen and it was raining on it. And then it just started acting weird, like it was punching in like the passcode for me as I was trying to get it. And I was going like, holy fuck, because I watched this documentary where the FBI was tailing this guy and they were in his phone. And I was like, oh my God, what did I say on my podcast? They're in my phone. And then I realized it was the water, and I was like, oh no. So I ended up coming home, and my wife, because she's a saint, she goes, take it out of the case. So I took it out of the case. And for some reason, it was texting people. I text some person. It was so funny. It had nothing to do with the conversation. I had text back, hey, thanks for watching my special. I appreciate it. Hope you can come out to my show at some point. I wrote that.
Yeah.
And then after it, the phone just wrote, you got it. And then for some reason, that person put the emoji thumbs up on you got it. And I think because it made no sense. And what I love about the thumbs up emoji is the best, because that's not, it's just, I heard what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to go out here. I feel like going out and going fucking shooting someone at a mall. Just, I guess you can't do that. That's a bad example. Whatever. So I talked myself into a corner. I didn't have a reference. So I just, yeah.
Oh, hey.
Bad example. Yeah, so she ended up taking a hairdryer to it, and it worked. So now it's fine. And then I had to write the person back saying, hey, sorry about the you got it. My phone got wet and sent that out. And then this person, he didn't write me back because I think he feels dumb because he responded to it with the fucking thumbs up emoji. And that right there, Bert, is the end of my going on a hike with the cracked cell phone screen story.
I do crack cell phone screen. The other night, Isla will do, if I'm sitting in my recliner, I'll have my phone like this. I'll hold it like this so that I can scroll with this finger. And if Isla sees that, she'll come by and just go zoinks and just rip it out of my hands.
Nice.
And I go, Isla, come on, baby. And so the other day she does it and then grabs it and then goes, just kidding, and throws it over his shoulder to me. And I'm like, ugh, and I miss it and it hits the ground. And I got so irrationally mad. It was like the guy in that Twilight Zone who gets his wife doesn't like his reading, and then the whole world dies, and he's stuck in a library, and he breaks his glasses. You remember that?
Oh,
Twilight
yeah,
Zone?
yeah, I saw it. Twilight Zone. Right?
That's all I felt like, is the guy who's on his phone all the time. Then we're in a fucking apocalypse, and she breaks my phone, and then I got to deal with a broken phone, and I got really upset with her, and it was like probably irrationally upset. Where
That's
I was like,
that pandemic anger. And you know, people say when you get hungry, you get hangry.
yeah,
I think you get a little pangry, because I've had a couple that I've just flipped out a couple times in the house, just being cooped up and shit. Maybe watch the news for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
Those fucking assholes. Like my buddy was going, dude, I'm so depressed. I just watched the news. They're showing here in New York. They're showing the bodies stacked up and there's no place to bury them. And I said, dude, don't watch that shit.
Yeah.
Okay? Because those fucking assholes in the media, they're going to cover people dying the way a fucking the Weather Channel covers every storm and says it's a fucking hurricane and it's coming right for New York and then it goes out to sea. Right? That's definitely sad what you saw. It's less than 1% of the fucking population. Okay. And if you sit down and you watch that shit, they're not offering any solutions. They're just showing you horrible shit. You know, people are dying. You don't need to see the bodies stacked up and all of that stuff. God bless the people that work down there and they're trying to fucking help people out and have to move them around. But there's no reason why you need that Vice Squad shit in your goddamn head. Just do what they say and ride this fucking thing out. And then, you know, if you want to look at the fucking the bodies, see it, you know, the documentary that comes out on Netflix in a year and a half or whatever.
Well, there's going to be a big one. But
What part are you playing?
I'm playing the Tiger King. My point was, I got really irrationally mad at Isla, and I told her, I said, if my phone broke, I was like, it was really a perspective shift because I go, if my phone broke, I couldn't get it fixed, Isla. I'd be having to sit through the rest of this pandemic with just a broken phone. And then she looked at me and she goes, my phone broke the first day. And I went, my heart broke. And I was like, oh my God, your phone broke? She goes, yeah, I didn't want to tell anyone because I knew we couldn't do anything about it. And then I was like, God damn it. I go, I'll buy you a new fucking phone. She was like, no, it's fine. It's not a big deal. And I was like, oh my God, her phone broke. And here I am lighting her up because she could have broken my phone. And she was just trying to make me giggle. I was like, man, I gotta get the fuck out of this house.
Yeah.
I don't leave though. I'm not leaving. I haven't really left much at all.
Hey, did I hijack your story with that dead bodies thing? Because
No.
He was a comedian, remembered to go back to it. I was just like, oh shit.
No, I wanted to. I wanted to be culpable in this and not just make I look like an ass. What? I can't watch the news, man. I can't. It doesn't help. I watch Food Channel and Cooking Network.
Yeah, I'm not smart enough to fucking keep up on world events and actually have like some sort of like. It's just overwhelmingly depressing, and then it doesn't make any sense to me because I walk around and I also have traveled a fair share of the world, and people are walking around being cool to one another. So I don't understand why it's just horror. You know, bleak, depressed. I mean, I understand now, pandemic, this is a terrible fucking thing, all right? But I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
They just show you all this fucking horrific shit going on. You know, I guess, you know something, I'm at that age, I like the feel-good stories. Like, I'd like the news to end with those people cheering you on during the marathon.
Yeah. I like feel-good stories. I feel like, you know what song I listened to the other day that really cheered me up? Because I was like, I got bummed thinking, you know, like, New York, everyone cheers at 7:00, and when they shift change at the hospitals, and everyone cheers. It's such a cool thing, and I was like, that's so New York, though. New York's so fucking resilient. Like it's 9/11, and everyone comes together. And I remember those fucking Yankee games where Scott Bashis hit a fucking home run. Like I remember those Yankee games. Watching
Brocious.
Brocious. God damn it.
Bashis.
Bashis. But I remember those games. And I was like, New York's so resilient. And then the other day, I'm driving back from what you would call it. We have that other house we let the dogs run at. And I'm driving back, and I played Randy Newman, "I Love L.A." Oh, I almost cried. I was like,
Randy Newman's the shit.
The shit.
Have you ever seen the live recording he does of Short People? Just how talented he is, and he's joking around. He's got that voice, dude. He's just like. That guy is he's a legend, man. I would love to see him. Does he play live?
He's still alive. He does.
No, I know he's alive. Does he play out live is what I'm saying.
I think a lot of his shows have been canceled for the new year.
No. Even Randy Newman? Fuck, this is a goddamn tragedy. Hey, Andrew, do we got to do a read here or what? We're coming up on an hour, aren't we?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. There you go. There's the good-looking guy of the podcast right there. You've been looking at us ugly bastards for the rest of it. All right. You want me to read this, Bert?
Yeah. No, it's better. I think it's better. I'll read it and you just interrupt me. I think that's better.
I'll react. Go ahead.
Okay. There are things we look back on and think, how did I get that so wrong? Do you have any idea? Anything ever happened like that to you, Bill?
Oh, I know that feeling. The time I tried to say hello to Gary Shandling when the music was too loud and he was behind 40 tables and clearly didn't want to be talked to. Boy, if I could have that moment back.
Or like the time I tried to interview Adam Sandler and I kept going, hey, Adam, do you want to hear a cool story? I love your movie Precious Gems.
You said Precious Gems?
Yeah.
Bill, I called it Precious Gems and
Oh,
Happy Madison.
no.
Said
was
Happy
so
Madison instead of Happy
Oh,
Gilmore, he said Happy Madison. It was beautiful, man. Everybody was so excited.
Wait, what did you say instead of Happy Madison?
I said, instead of Happy Gilmore, I said, I showed my girls your movie Happy Madison. And he went, oh, okay. And then he goes, and then I go, we're going to watch your new movie, Precious Gems. He was like, oh, great. And then I said, hey, do you have Netflix? And he was like, yeah, I got Netflix.
Oh, God.
My
I
point
said
is,
Happy Madison because his production company's called Happy Madison, but it's Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison.
yeah, my
I
point is,
just realized that. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Bert, there's a reason why you and I should just be talking to each other. Just limit the damage.
a good point. See, guys, there's always a reason things are going to go wrong. That's just life. But there's also things we can get right on the first try, like shopping for life insurance. That's where Policy Genius comes in. I have life insurance. Do you have life insurance? You have life insurance, right, Bill?
I absolutely. I have enough life insurance. I don't trust my wife.
You're skipping out, Bill.
Yeah,
You're skipping out. Say it again. You have what?
I said yes. I have so much life insurance. I only cook my own meals. I don't trust my wife to cook for me unless she sits across from me, eats. I ask for a drink and then I switch plates like a bad whodunit movie.
That's perfect. Policy Genius makes finding the right life insurance a breeze. In minutes, you can compare quotes from the top insurers to find your best price. You can save $1,500 or more a year by using Policy Genius to compare life insurance policies. Once you apply, the Policy Genius team will handle all the paperwork and red tape for free. And Policy Genius doesn't just make life insurance easy. They also can help you find the right home and auto or disability insurance. Do you have disability insurance?
They can do that too?
They can do all of that.
I have all of that stuff. I fly, for a living, and I just got to have it, and a lot of guys don't want to do it because you got to confront your own mortality. It's the best feeling. It's the best feeling to step on a plane that could crash and know that everybody's going to be okay.
It is.
That they're not even going to miss you.
My point is, you're going to get a lot of things wrong in life, like interviewing Adam Sandler or meeting Gary Shandling. Let's not make that same mistake with life insurance. You'll never get distressed about life insurance ever again with Policy Genius. In just a few minutes, you can find your best price and apply at policygenius.com. We get all the things in life wrong from time to time. At least we can get life insurance right with Policy Genius.
That was uplifting. That was an uplifting message in the end.
I liked it.
You got to do it, man. You can't bring people into the world and they're of a certain age and they're not making any money. You can't do that. Life has to be like Florida Evans slamming that Jell-O dish down on the floor. Damn.
I had a buddy who I used to work with. He used to be a producer on my show. I won't say his name, but he used to be a producer on my show. And we were on the road. We were in Vietnam, and we were talking about life insurance. And I said, yeah, I had a really interesting conversation with my life insurance agent. They do the test, and then you do a phone interview. And we got on the thing, and the guy said, do you drink? I said, seldomly. He goes, do you skydive or do you just do anything dangerous? I said, no. And we do the whole interview, right? Have you ever used drugs? Never used drugs. Work out every day. Great shape. And we get done, and he goes, okay, Mr. Kreischer, the recording is now over. And I went, awesome. And he goes, the machine. And I went, what? And he goes, that was the funnest interview I've ever done on the phone, man. I know who the fuck you are. And he just hung up.
Oh, no way. He knew you were lying your ass off. But hey, wait, don't you go there when don't you go there. I didn't mean it like that. When I got my life insurance and all of that, They needed, it was funny because I had my head shaved. They took up from my beard, and they fucking
Really?
yeah, and then they see if what drugs you're doing, if you're
Yeah.
fucking drinking or smoking. So I said to the guy, I said, listen, man, I don't fucking do drugs or anything like that. And but I do smoke cigars. And I go, I have a few, whatever. And he says, how many do you have? I'm going, well, I'm not going to fucking lie to you. I smoke a lot. He goes, well, we can put you down as a occasional smoker. And dude, what that did to my fucking life insurance made me cut back. I'm like, wow, man, if it goes up this high, you must fucking, even cigars, you must fucking die from this shit, huh?
So I told my buddy Paul, I go, I'm telling that story, and he goes, they really check into this shit. And I go, Paul, man, like don't drink the night before, because if they take your blood and they find high levels of alcohol, then I go, don't take Xanax, man. Don't smoke weed. Like, and by the way, he dips. I go, don't dip for like a full week, and he goes, okay. He goes, I'm scheduling it.
No, dude, you got to go longer than that.
Right. Well, I told him, I said, you can, because they'll find it in your system. He's like, okay. So a week later, we're back from this trip, and I get a call at like 7 a.m. this time, right? It's like 8, it's like 9 in Colorado. And I go, by the way, I've already said his name twice. So he calls up and he's like, oh my God. I go, what's up? And he goes, oh, well, I walked into work today and the life insurance person was waiting in my office. And I went, what? No. I go, you had your exam today? And he goes, I totally forgot about it. And I go, whoa. And he goes, yeah. I go, well, wait, how have you dipped? And he goes, let me tell you something. He goes, we were out last night and I don't normally do cocaine, but I'm like, wait, you were partying with drugs? He goes, I rolled in so hungover, so fucking, he goes, I took a Xanax this morning just to get into work. And then I had to put a dip in just to level he goes, I walked into the exam with a dip in going, today's a bad day.
Oh, so he said it's a bad day and they were cool with that?
No, they weren't. They canceled the appointment and they said in canceling the appointment, this is going to raise your rate. And so he just was like, fuck it, I'll get life insurance at another time.
Yeah, that's what you do. You just be a friggin', I was going to say altar boy, but what happens to them lately, that's not a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Just be a Boy Scout. Can't say Boy Scout either. Did you see a thing? Have you seen that lawyer commercial out here where it's just like if you were abused in the Boy Scouts just filed for bankruptcy, but they still have over $1 billion in assets. So they're filing for bankruptcy to protect their assets that they have. And then all these people are suing for shit that happened to them.
Really?
Yeah. It's just fucking horrible. All of that shit that when I was a kid, that your parents, be an altar boy, be a Cub Scout, doing this shit, the Pinewood Derby and all that fucking shit, whatever the fuck it was called. Thank God I didn't get into scouting because my older brother got into it and he wore the uniform down to the bus stop one day and he never did that again. Came down with his little badges on him and shit. I thought the shirt was the shit. And then I saw him, the level that he was getting trashed, and then I'm showing up. I'm already getting trashed with my orange hair. It's like, I don't need to be adding a blue shirt with a bobcat on it. I don't need to be doing that. I'm catching enough shit here. I don't need to do this. I don't need to add to the beatdown. So I didn't do it.
What a weird outfit.
What a weird what?
What a weird outfit. And what a shift to go from like loving something like the Boy Scouts must be fun and your brother's so excited and he's like, yeah, got a Boy Scout meeting. I'm going to wear this shirt. Everyone's going to be like, oh, cool, you're in the Boy Scouts. And then you get down there and the kids just 2 grades above him are like, oh, you didn't know that shit's out of style.
No, well, what it was it was the early 70s. So it was still long hair, fuck authority, like that type of shit. Like if my brother did it 10 years earlier, early 60s, early, in the 50s, it was cool then. But that was like a real big time of like, everybody thought that they were a rebel and, everybody acted like they went to Woodstock when they didn't. It was really like that sort of time that was happening. Vietnam War was still going on. I'm an old fuck, dude. Like, so
Does your family laugh together?
what do you mean? Laughed? Yes. We tell jokes, and if it's funny, everybody laughs.
No, but is it like my family?
When did this go Oprah? I'm not doing this.
No,
This is your life about my
no,
family.
no, no,
You
no.
guys, were dinners a big thing? Did you eat
No,
together?
no.
I always wish I grew up in a big family. All the different personalities.
I just wonder if your brother, something like that happens to your brother, and there's humor about it because you find humor in it, or if it's one of those things where you're like you'd say it to your brother, and he's like, "Yeah, it was rough, Bill. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
Oh no! If I brought that up to him now, no, he would laugh about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, back then it wasn't funny. It was just like, I mean, what you wanted to have back then was you wanted a jean jacket, long hair, and an Apollo 3-speed, the Schwinn Apollo 3-speed bike,
Wow.
which had the banana seat, the little fat tire in the back, and what was hilarious, it had this little gear like a Hirsch shifter between your fucking legs. It was really ridiculous. The handbrakes up there. Me and my brother, we wanted that bike so fucking bad.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
It looked like a motorcycle. It looked like a chopper, right?
Yeah, it looks like a chopper.
How heavy does that frame look? Like you could get any air. And the front tire was smaller than the back tire, right?
Yeah, that's a
Those things are like, you can get like $600, $700, $800 for those things.
Wow. It's called a muscle bike.
Yeah. So there was the Apollo 3-speed. There was a number of those. Those were like the cool bikes before like late 70s when the Red Line, the BMX bikes came in.
Yeah,
Mongoose, Red Line, all of
Mongoose was the big bike when I was a kid.
Diamondback.
I had a Diamondback.
I knew all the cool shit and had none of it. My parents, you're not getting that. I had a big Pee Wee Herman fucking beach rambler with white wall tires. It was a great bike to do a paper route on. And it was also a great bike to have if you wanted to be socially in the middle of the pack and not noticeable in your school.
Oh man, my dad did the coolest thing. I had a bike. I had a Schwinn. I forget what kind of bike it was. It was a Schwinn. It was like a kind of a nondescript bike. And I remember my mom was having a yard sale that day. My dad wasn't interested in the yard sale. And he said, why don't we upgrade your bike? And I was like, well, my bike's fine. And he was like, no, we'll go and we'll get new stuff for it. Like we'll take and I think my bike was stock, but like nerd stock, right? Like it was a good bike, but it was nerd stock. And my dad went down and he got new tires, like the kind of knobby, cool, many knobs of the tires. Got a new handlebar and new wrist things. And it was like a cool handlebar. And then like just and different guards to put on the seat on the middle pole.
Yeah,
and like it just stripped it down, and immediately it was like I never thought my dad was like cool. Like he didn't have any cool vibes about him, but he made this bike so fucking cool that I remember taking it out, and everyone was like, "Dude, did you get a new bike?" And I was like, "Nah, I just upgraded it." And they're like, I was like immediately a badass bike.
And you know what's funny? As far as eBay goes, if you had kept it the other way, all original nerd, it's actually worth more money. Because I still have the bike that I had on my paper route that I bought. I bought a 12-speed bike. I mean, it still fits. I mean, you just adjust it, So, but I remember I had it on the kickstand and it tipped over and I tore the leather on the seat. So I got a new seat, the one that's better for your prostate because now I'm old. It's fucking hilarious. And pedals. And the second Dean Del Rey saw it, he goes, "Oh, killer old bike." He goes, "Too bad you didn't keep it all original." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Did you keep the seat? The seat's a big thing, man." I was just like, I'm not going to sell it anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no, that's it. I actually tried to sell it because I was getting rid of some stuff. I'm like, it's time to let this thing go. And then I went over his house and I saw it again. And I was just like, let me get that back because that represents my first job. And it also represents like my work ethic that I got and how I never had to bum money off my parents. I always had fucking money. Oh, dude, I was making like anywhere from $8 to $20 a week when I was like in like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. I mean, that was fucking amazing.
Really?
Yeah. Like right through, like I always had fucking money. I mean, I would blow it all on football cards and, but I had like, I had like $60 in the bank. It was a big fucking deal. there was always like the rich kids whose parents gave them money and they had a couple $100, but I actually had a little bit of money in the bank, and I don't know. I was like, all right, I gotta get that bike back.
There was no better feeling than commiserating with a sibling when you went to a rich kid's house and you saw the shit they had, and you'd be like, they have a Pac-Man machine? And your sister's like, Mom and Dad would never let us have a Pac machine.
Dude, I used to think people, if they had blue Christmas lights, it meant they were rich.
Really?
I don't know why. I think now it means they were Jewish, right? Jewish people put the blue lights up. I had no idea. I just thought it looked cool. No, I really think like people's idea of wealth has totally changed with social media, and like the Kardashians were huge to introduce and Sex in the City. Wow, what's his face? Duff McKagan was talking about that one time. He was the one. He was on my podcast. I think we were on my podcast. He was talking about this, saying the thing that switched it. He goes, it was Sex in the City. And they made all of those brands. Dude, when I was growing up, I didn't know what Louis Vuitton was or any of that shit. I knew that Saks Fifth Avenue was a big store. That was the expensive store in Boston. But I didn't understand that Fifth Avenue meant Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. And this is where all of these stores were. Like, if you wanted like I don't know too much about like a lot of shit I talk about. But like if you wanted a Louis Vuitton bag, you had to go either to London, Paris, New York City. There was probably LA, Rodeo Drive always had it, but like it wasn't everywhere. And one time I was doing a tour and I was in like Mobile, Alabama. Great fucking city, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And I went to the mall and they had a Louis Vuitton store, and I just remember thinking like, oh man, that's crazy how Louis Vuitton has become like the Gap. Like that's like a mall store. That means a fucking ridiculous. Like I'd never seen a Louis Vuitton bag until like the 2000s. You know, or even heard of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I never saw one. My grandmother had Louis Vuitton bags. My grandmother lived in New York, was a banker in New York City, lived in Levittown, but was a banker, and would come down, and she had fur coats and a Louis Vuitton bag. And I remember being like,
yeah, she was a pimp.
Nails done. To this day, there's a song. Bill Withers is? He just passed away.
Yeah, no, he was one of my favorites.
Yeah, and he sang this great song, Grandma's Hands. And it was
Grandma's Hands. You ever listen to Live at Carnegie Hall?
No.
Oh my God.
Oh,
dude, he has like 5 or 6 albums. Those first 3 or 4 albums, when it's just him, James Gadson, one of my favorite, most underrated fucking drummers of all time. He's fucking unbelievable drummer. James Gadson, I forget the bass player and the guitar player. When he just had that little quartet, I would put them up against any band in the world. And there's a couple things of him over in Europe playing live, playing like Use Me or Kissing My Love. He just was like, what I loved about him was he was like a man, like a guy, like he had that John Wayne like swagger. Like I almost feel like he wasn't even singing. He just opened his mouth and was talking to you, but it just came out as like music. And just the subject matter is timeless in the groove of his music. What's that one? Bum, ba, dun, dun. Bum, ba, dun, dun. About the guy walking by that who is he and what is he to you? Oh, dude, it's about this dude walking down the street with this chick, and this other guy comes the other way, and he catches them both the way the dude looks at him or something, and he just reads into that. And it was like, who's that? Who is that? And who is he? And what is he to you? Like he knows she's fucking around just by that look.
I don't know.
No, it's that. Well, I mean, it's probably one of the. I don't know. It's everybody talks about Lean on Me. Like, dude, his other shit it's way better than the radio hits.
Yeah, Ain't No Sunshine When You're Gone.
Yeah, those are all the radio hits. You got to go deeper than that.
What's the one I just played the other day that I thought is the perfect? I went through and bought all his. He got a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys like 2 years ago. And I'm sitting on my recliner and I'm having a glass of wine and they play all his stuff, and I'm like losing my mind, going, shut the fuck up.
All right,
Lovely day. That's the one.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Lovely day. No, he's unbelievable. Here's my favorite, most underrated one that I don't know why it wasn't a bigger hit. And just listen to these.
Who is he? And what's he to you?
Yeah, who is he? Play that.
Dude, that. Let me tell you something. If that's not every time I ever got cheated on, and I knew it before she told me, and that is me going, well, that's odd. You gave him a weird look at the bar. It's like, you're crazy. And then I went, ooh.
We've all been there. Hey, here's one. This is mine. Listen, this is James Gadsden. I can't. What did you just do so you could hear it?
I just played it on.
You played it on your phone? I'm gonna play it. Andrew, if I play it on the computer, you'll be able to hear it.
Yeah, I should be able to.
Okay, I'm stupid. I don't know. Here we go. Listen to this shit. Oh no, I hit play.
Yeah, I can hear it. Turn it up.
Oh, yeah, turn it up.
As loud as I can go.
There you go.
Wait, I gotta go back in the. I'm gonna go to the beginning.
It's kicking in and out. We can't hear it now.
Oh, you can't hear it? God damn it. Can I ask you a question? Why the fuck does my shit never work? It just never fucking, no matter what the fuck I do, how much of this Apple fucking horse shit I buy, it just never fucking works. It never fucking works. Wait a minute. Fuck you guys. I'm fucking taking out my fucking iPhone with the goddamn cracked screen that you can't even fucking
We couldn't see it. It went blue.
I know. Why would I think that would work?
By the way, as it was cutting in and out, I thought, who's going to tell him? And I can't wait to see his response.
Sorry, I blew it.
Whatever. That's my life in a microcosm right there. All right, where is it? All right, off the Still Bill album. All right, here we go. Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
No, it's cutting in.
All right, go fuck yourselves. Just go fucking listen to it. All right. You have an Apple phone. I have an Apple phone. We're both on Zoom. We're both fucking on Apple laptop computers. Yours works crystal clear. Like I'm standing in a waterfall in the fucking rainforest. I go to use mine.
Your background right now with you angry, I feel like we're stuck in a boat together and we're lost at sea.
That's hilarious. This was your idea, Kreischer. Shark's got a black eye when it rolls in the back of its head. Anyways, James Gadsden.
James Gadsden, is he? I can get him on YouTube or on Instagram.
James Gadsden lives right here in LA, and I read such a heartbreaking story where he had a snare drum that Miles Davis's son had. Are you guys still there? Now you seem like
no, I'm listening.
So he had a snare drum and these drum mics that you can't get anymore, and somebody went into his house and fucking stole them. And he just listening to him talk about it in print almost made me cry, as far as like how heartbroken he was, because when you play the way that guy plays, like that is not a job, dude. That's coming from your soul. The way that guy plays, he's unbelievable. So to take those things from him, you're literally taking a piece of him, man.
What was the name of the song you were trying to play from James Gadsden?
Bill Withers, Kissin' My Love.
But James Gadsden's got his own albums, huh?
He's played with a lot of people, and he's a super, super humble guy, and he is on the down low, one of the greatest drummers easily that has ever existed. Could you have been a studio musician, or would you have needed to be Bon Scott? All right, what are we talking about? If we're talking my talent level, I could barely be in a No. Pretend you go in and they give you the injections for the stem cell in your shoulder,
and you get back and you find out that those stem cells, in fact, were taken from the old body of Bon Scott, and now you can drum for whatever reason. Like they got them from DNA from him, and now you're amazing drummers in the world. And everyone's like, oh my God, Bill, you can now make $100 million drumming whenever you want. But would you like to be a studio musician, or do you want to be on stage like Tommy Lee, like?
No, I'd go studio because I'd want to hang with my kid.
Yeah.
Just
Oh yeah, that's right. You already.
Knock it. Yeah, dude, I'm past.
Question to ask you.
Like
I can do that in stand up.
I don't give a fuck. I don't have to go to the goddamn airport. I'll tell you, if you want to talk one of the best. Now we're talking drums here. One of the best fucking studio drummers or live drummers in a band drummer ever is Steve Gadd. And Steve Gadd, he played with Paul Simon. He's played with Clapton, played with everybody. But there's some, like, he did so many fucking studio things. I couldn't find the drummer. And then I figured out because it was just his sound. I'm 90% sure it's a Jim Croce song called Car Wash Blues. And it's a really silly song, sort of pop song. But if you listen to what I'm 99% sure it's Steve Gadd underneath. I was just talking to somebody about that the other day. Like, what the fuck this guy puts underneath that and what he adds to that song. Like, every time I listen to that song, I get the chills in the hair and my arms start standing up.
Dude, Jim Croce, you forget. You know, it's like sometimes you look on your phone and you're like, God, I got no good music on here. Then you go, Jim Croce. That motherfucker had so many great hits.
Do you have Car Wash Blues?
I'm looking for it. Working at the car wash?
No, isn't that Working at the Car Wash? Yeah, that's not him. Whoa. I don't know who that is.
No, it's Jim Croce.
Working at the Car Wash Blues. There you go. See
Dude,
that?
I'm getting back on the treadmill. I might have to listen to Jim Croce.
Can you do me a favor? Can you just listen to Steve? I'm 99% sure that Steve Gadd. Listen to his drums. The shit that how he is elevating that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I lack the musical talent to be able to explain what it's, I don't know. He's a fucking genius. He's a genius.
There was the only drum cover. There was a guy I knew in college that was a really great drummer. And we were in a car driving from fucking West Virginia to Tallahassee. And we were all doing drugs and we were listening to Tool at the time. And he was in the back with me and he said, oh, put it on like number 5. I want to say it was like Undertow, but it was a great drum solo. And he said, what's beautiful about this drum solo is that, and he was trying to break it down to me. He goes, you got to listen because the way I hear it, it's so complex because he slows his drums down to a beat that now he's dictating where the band goes. Rum, dum, dum, dum. And he's like, and then as he speeds up, the band goes with. He goes, and he just. I wish I could remember the exact song, but it was like the most. Like I didn't know anything about drums, but all of a sudden, every time I hear that song, I parrot what I remember from him telling me. This is what's great about this song.
I saw the best times I ever saw that because the band has to be ridiculously tight to do that.
Yeah.
I saw Meshuggah and Danny Carey was there. And I remember Meshuggah as a band, they did something that I was like, what the fuck was that? And I look over and I saw Danny Carey just was standing there like 9 feet tall, just goes, fuck. And I was just like, oh my God, they made Danny Carey freak out. It was fucking awesome. Like, and there was like a bunch of drummers there. It was at the Wiltern. And they were playing this song called, the fuck is it called? What's it called when you have a brain bleed? What do you call that? A fucking
aneurysm.
I think it's just called bleed. I think it's about an aneurysm. And dude, that fucking song, I don't know. I've talked about it enough on my podcast, but basically what the drummer's playing, it's like a 3 against 4. Up top, he's playing just a simple 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then with his feet, he's going like, and the band is locked in with his feet. the crowd's all rocking out to what he's playing up top. And then the band's going, and he leads with left and right foot. It's fucking insane. It doesn't even.
What song is this?
It's called Bleed. And then the singer is just singing like in 4. I was looking at that whole band like, what happens if somebody fucks up? How do you jump back in? You got to put it up to the mic.
I can hear that.
Yeah. So anyway, I feel like on top, he made it simple enough so I could understand. But then underneath was like all of this other shit that was going on. There's some really like phenomenal fucking bands out there.
Do you know Fred Armisen?
A little bit. I've met him a couple of times. Yeah.
Did you see his special stand-up comedy for drummers?
Did I see? Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
It was really an interesting
Yeah.
special, but it was just meant for drummers, right?
Yeah, that guy, man. I remember one time I came up with one of I thought was the most obscure idea ever. Was I have? Oh my God, I can actually show it to you here, if you can see it. Oh, do I need to get rid of my background here?
To show us something, probably, yeah.
I do. Let me see here. Let me just get back to the regular old background.
Unless it's a picture of a blue thing, then we'd get it.
All right, there we go. Here's my little shitty fucking area here. Look what I got here. Most people have stacks of porn. Can you see that?
Yeah.
These are all fucking drum videos. There's James Brown. That's Bill Hicks. Dave Weckl. Who we got? Dennis Chambers, Mike Clark, Dave Garibaldi, Chad Smith, David Garibaldi, Omar Hakim, Carter Beauford. Double-based instructional with Joe Franco, Rod Morgenstein, Terry Bozzio. Oh, and this one right here. That's the man right there. Steve Gadd up close. Modern Drummer Festivals. Dude, I have an entire VHS. I got DVDs underneath. Go fuck yourself. So I have all of these fucking things from just back in the day when I was trying to learn. Okay, choose it. I did it. How do I get out of this? Can I get out of here? There we go. I had all of that shit from just like back in the day. Like I used to watch all of those fucking things over and over and over again. I don't know what my fucking point was.
We were talking about Fred Armisen. You had the weirdest.
Oh, Fred Armisen. So I was watching those videos, and after you watched enough of them, it was just like stand-up specials. They became like a way to do them. So it kind of became cliched and something to make fun of. So I was talking to a comic. I forget. I was on the road in the middle of nowhere. I go, dude, I have the weirdest fucking idea. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I don't think it's going to make any money. And I go, I want to do a parody of a drum video. An instructional drum video. And as I'm saying it to him, he's kind of smiling. I was like, oh my God, somebody gets it. Maybe he plays drums. And he goes, Fred Armisen already did that. And I go, what? Somebody already did a parody of a drum instructional video that you can get at a music store. He's like, yes. And then the kid was cool. He ended up sending me, I think I have it in there somewhere. And he fucking nailed it. Some of them were done in like the 90s when everyone was wearing like paisley.
Yeah.
And there's always this paisley stuff. And they're always playing this smooth jazz shit that was super intricate, but had like no balls whatsoever. And then the song would end and they would all look at each other and laugh like something happened and you always missed it. And he did all of that shit. And I was just like, God damn it. But I'm glad he did it because I back then I always talked like I was going to do shit. And I never followed through.
You and Bill Armisen should get together. Fred Armisen should get together and do and play drums together. Could you play drums with another guy?
Yeah, I've done that before. I mean, I wouldn't want people to see it. I'd hang with them and just jam and fuck around. I would do that, but I would never do that and actually make people listen to it.
Fred Armisen, I met him one time, and he was so sweet, like meaning like so genuine. Like I said hi, and he was like, "Hey," like really stopped and like focused in. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? And I said, Bert. And he said, oh, it's very nice to meet you, Bert. I'm Fred. Would you like to sit down? And it was at Aspen. No one's like sitting with each other. And I was like, oh, thanks. Then Nick Swardson came in. Nick has always been comfortable around anyone, man. I wish I could have, like, Nick never had the Gary Shandling or the Adam Sandler moment. He always was just cool. You know what I mean?
Because he is cool. Nick's one of the coolest people ever.
Just
one of the
like
funnest, funniest, just coolest fucking people ever. You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I loved that guy before I even met him. I saw him on that when they did the reboot of Make Me Laugh. And he was just going for it. Like, just went out there and just totally committed. And he was a kid. I mean, he couldn't have been like 20, 21 years old. And he was one of those guys doing that exciting time at the Boston Comedy Club. And Barry Katz had all the guys. And I remember when he came to town, there was like, you know, every like 2-3 years, a no-brainer came to town. You're like, this guy's going to make it. This guy's going to do shit.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys.
I would love to know Nick's Gary Shandling. I mean, he's got to have one.
Gary Shandling thing?
Like, no, Gary Shandling moment where he just screwed the pooch.
Oh, on stuff like that? I don't know. You know, I've never really talked to him about stuff like that.
Let me see if I have his number.
You're just going to call him up like that?
Yeah, right?
That feels weird to me.
Nah.
Hey, Nick, you're live on a podcast. Can you at least give him a heads up? Text him?
Yeah. I wonder if he'll answer.
I did answer.
Hey, Nicholas, it's Bert and Bill Burr, and we're doing a podcast. And
Hi, guys.
You're on the podcast. Can you hear him, Bill?
Yeah. What's up, Nicholas?
Hi, Bill. Hi, Bert. How are you guys?
Doing good, man. How you holding up?
I'm doing good, man. I'm in Minnesota.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's nice here.
Hey, listen, we were talking about really awkward moments we've had with celebrities. Bill talked about his meeting Gary Shandling for the first time, and I had a really awkward interaction with Sandler the other day on some live stream. And we were saying, have you ever had one? Because both of us think you haven't.
Have I had like an awkward interaction?
Like one where you cringe and you go, God, that was fucking bad. I wish I'd never done that.
I mean, I haven't per se. If I found myself in situations, I would always just be fucking quiet.
Really?
Like
See that? That's the difference. He knew to shut up, and we talked.
What did you do to Sandler?
Oh, bro, I'll send you the clip. It's so bad. I called all his movies by the wrong name. I said, oh, we loved Happy Madison. Me and the girls are going to watch Precious Gems. We can't wait to watch Precious Gems. I was like, do you have Netflix? Hey, Adam, you want to hear a cool story? It was so bad, Nick. It was so
You're like,
fucking...
I love 50 First Rapes.
Hey, Nick, it was so bad I had to shut it off. The look of excitement and knowing when he just said, hey, Adam, I got a quick story. You got time for a quick story? The look of hope on his face, the way his head was sideways on the camera, I had to shut it off.
Oh, no, I've got to see that.
Oh, I'll text it to you. I chopped it up into a video. You'll get a kick out of it.
Well, that actually goes with what me and Bill were talking about the other day. I watched this documentary on John Lennon and Yoko Ono. And you want to talk about just a kind of celebrity disaster when Bill has already talked about this, but when John Lennon was performing with Chuck Berry and Yoko Ono was on stage, and she just starts doing this in the middle of Chuck Berry singing. And that to me is one of the most uncomfortable. If anybody has not seen it, you can YouTube John Lennon, Chuck Berry, and Yoko Ono.
Did you hear Bill's breakdown on it?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so amazing. But that to me was one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever seen. And I texted Bill, I go, next time you're at the Comedy Store, I'm going to take a microphone in the back and just pull a Yoko in the middle of his set. Whatever Bill's talking about, I just want him to hear like
Nick, you have to be on stage because she was on stage and everyone could see her. They had a little microphone for her bongos and the sound guy should have had the shit turned all the way down and she just didn't think she was loud enough or whatever and she just grabs this thing and in the middle of it. And Chuck Berry just goes like, makes his face like, yeah, that ain't my woman.
Even
It's
the
the woman in line, Johnny.
Yeah. But the bongos weren't even a contribution. I don't even know what that haunted house acid cackle would add to anything. Even anybody in a haunted house would be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it was just it's actually brilliant. The confidence to do that in front of Chuck Berry. You're banging a Beatle. I'm going to do this in front of Chuck Berry, and then just stand there like what I just did has artistic validity. And I will stare everybody down in the room. She should have been a poker player. You could have handed her nothing, and she would have won the fucking pot.
You couldn't really figure out what reaction meant what. Like, she could have pocket aces and you'd have no idea. She could either be cackling or she would start vomiting out of her eyes. Who knows what she would do.
I will say, though, she had one of the best names for a band. The Plastic Ono Band. I always loved that name. I thought that was a killer name.
Yeah, that's not bad. That is her one redemption, I guess.
Yeah. I feel bad for the people in the band. They probably were taking bets. At what point are we going to finally get the crowd to listen and she's going to start that fucking cackling again?
At what point are they like, should we even play anything? Like, we can play whatever we want. I'll just play a potato. I mean, you can really just master any instrument.
Yeah, it's like if she's going to do that, then all bets are off.
Yeah, I'll just sit here and strum my pubic hair. Who fucking cares?
How long are you in Minnesota for? You here?
I have no idea. What are you guys doing with your road dates? Because I pushed everything to the fall, but I don't even know if that's going to stick. I don't even know what to do.
I don't know. I'm leaving everything as is because everything's shifting day by day. So I got dates in June. I got dates in July and August, and then I have a tour in fall. So I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. Bill's got the Larry the Cable Guy schedule where he does like 30 shows a year. So he can just push it all to 2021.
First of all, Bill is here, and I don't know what you're talking about.
It's right there.
How is it? Is he talking Bill Maher? Who the fuck is he talking about? That's not my road schedule.
What are you doing in the fall, Bill?
I have dates, and I'm confident that they're going to get in front of this thing and come up with testing or a vaccine. Because rich people don't want to fucking mow their own lawns. They need us to get back out there and send them their shit. They need kids to sew together their clothes. I mean, so do I. You know, so everybody's got to fucking. We're going to get out of this. It's going to be fine. And I think Nick's doing it right. He's up there in Minnesota. There's not even corona in fucking Minnesota. It's too cold up there.
Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah.
Nobody catches the flu in a cold state.
Yeah, and I think we're actually kind of okay with delaying sports seasons.
My dad.
Anybody's rushing back for another Minnesota miracle into a Molotov cocktail anytime soon.
Well, I can tell you, Patriot fans are not in a rush to see Tom Brady in Tampa. I can tell you that.
What did you think of his announcing on Tampa Brady and all those? Did you see the licensing he got for that?
I just saw it today.
What is it?
He copywrote Tampa Brady.
That's terrible. That's not a good idea.
Yeah,
That sounds like the first thing you throw out. But I hope he makes his money because this is the thing about Tom was he always took pay cuts to get better players. I think he finally wanted to get paid. I don't fucking know. Who knows? He was with us for 20 fucking years. We won 6 Super Bowls. You know, I'm happy, but I am definitely. It's going to be hard to see him in that uniform. But I've been a Pats fan since we had Jim Plunkett and Steve Grogan. So I'm staying. But what I like about it now is we're going to see who the real fucking fans are. All these fucking people that have been filling up the stadium. You're still going to go? I hope so.
Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Dane Cook.
Oh, I don't question them. I question all of those fucking people like I don't know. Dude, used to be able to just walk up and buy a fucking ticket, but we'll see. Bill Belichick's still there. Bob Kraft's still there. I have confidence we'll have a good season. I love talking about it like it's going to happen. Positive.
I mean, you have to be. That's the only real way to do it. I mean,
NFL money could have cured
it's
AIDS.
interesting though. What's that?
NFL money. I mean, there's too much money to be lost. If there was this much money to be lost during the AIDS epidemic, they would have cured it.
I think the NFL caused this fucking virus.
Should have brought that up to Sandler. By the way, I was just shy of that, Nick. It's so fucking bad.
I can't wait to see that. That's
The
amazing.
NFL had something to do with this virus because they profited the most. Because NBA had to shut down, NHL had to shut down. They shut down the XFL. Baseball's delayed. They let the NFL get their Super Bowl in, right? Then they waited a month so it looked good before they shut everybody down. That's my theory.
Yeah, they did get a Super Bowl in.
They did. They made all of their fucking money, and then they're projecting, when are we going to come out of this? Right when football starts again.
Not
Do you
bad.
think they'll play? Do you think they'll play to empty arenas?
Yes.
Ooh. I hope this helps me get tickets to the new stadium, the SoFi Stadium, and for the Rams.
I think they will, and I would definitely, I would watch it. And what I would love was great is they won't be playing that stupid fucking music every 5 seconds when you're watching an NBA game. Like the worst game I ever went to was the Brooklyn Nets. It was like there was a guy DJing the entire time they were playing. And then every 5 seconds, Brooklyn, where Brooklyn at? Brooklyn, we go hard. Where we at? Brooklyn. It's like, we get it. We get it. We're in Brooklyn. I understand. This is Brooklyn. Stand up, Brooklyn. Is Brooklyn in the house? Oh my God, shut up.
Oh my God.
I literally needed fucking earplugs.
Listen at Nick. Nick goes, Jesus. Wait, what were you going to say, Nick?
No, I went to a Minnesota Timberwolves game, and they tried to we were losing. The New Orleans Pelicans were on a 30-game losing streak or something insane. I can't remember what it was. And we were losing to them, and they tried to hype up the Minnesota crowd. They were like, all right, make some noise. And Minnesota is so polite, and even they were like, no, boo. And they just kept sitting. They just didn't even want to be a part of it. They tried to hype up Minnesota, and they were just like, no, we don't want to do that. That's it. We're losing bad. We're about to snap a bad team, the worst team in the league's losing streak. No, we're good. We're good.
Nice.
How are your families doing? How's your family, Bert?
We're good, man. We're fine. I haven't drank in 21 days, Nick.
Wow, I'm at 7 months.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'll be 7 months in next week.
Holy shit.
Another great one retires.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I almost died.
I know. I heard about something in Denver or something, right?
Yeah, I like drank for like 4 months straight, like super hard, like beyond hard. I was just like, fuck it. And then I went to Denver, and then the altitude and everything kicked in. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. Fucking
Really?
sucks. Yeah, so I had to like take a pretty long time out. I don't know how long, but probably a while. I was like holding down the fort. I was like one of those comics that was like still going really hard. And then I was like, yeah, I think I keep doing this. I'm like 43 years old. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm just chugging fucking shots, and it was just insane.
So you're 7 months. Nice. Do you feel good? Are you losing weight?
No, I'm huge. I feel way better. I feel awesome. I always liked, I would go like hard for 4 or 5 months, then I would dry out for like 4 or 5 months. So I was like really extreme. So I always liked when I would dry out and take a break. It was always kind of nice.
Yeah. That's how I feel right now.
I don't really mind it. It's like, it's fine not having anxiety. I was having like every crazy thing. It was like bad. I had shakes and I had all that shit. It was brutal. It just became like drinking to fucking survive.
Oh.
I would wake up and have 2 cocktails and a shot before I did anything.
God, that kind of sounds romantic.
I was going to say, as fucked up as I am, that sounds awesome. There's something about seeing a full-on alcoholics like day. Like I talked to this guy. I had an acting gig one time, and he quit drinking. I had quit drinking, so we were talking about shit that we missed. And he goes, what my favorite thing to do was? He go, I get up around noon. So already that's awesome. He goes, I get up around noon. I'd get the morning paper, and I'd go straight to a bar and just start drinking. I forget what he would start his day with, like a Bloody Mary, and just read the morning paper in like a dive bar that was all dark. And then he goes, and then I would just get absolutely hammered. And around 5 or 6, I would go home, pass out for like a couple hours, and then go out for like the last 3, I don't know, to like 2, 3 in the morning. Then he'd go to bed, and he would do it again the very next day, and just eat that bar food and all of that. And it's just like, I mean, that sounds awesome.
It was fucking great. And I took the summer off. I didn't have to film. And that's all I did was drink every day and go to baseball games and just run around. And it was awesome. It was great.
What was your drink of choice?
I went through every alcohol. I maxed out every, like I went through a whiskey phase. That was a disaster. I went through a Jägermeister phase, disaster. Tequila. And then I just finally thought I had solved it. And I was like, oh, I'm just a vodka guy.
Yeah.
So I would drink like a vodka soda with like a lime. And I'm like, oh, this is it. I solved it. And then I'm just like, oh, I'll have 70 of these and that's fine. And then it was just, it just got to a point where it was, I mean, I don't remember. Then it got to a point where like after months and months of that, I would go to football games. I don't remember anything. I would have photos and I'd be like, what? I would have to call the Vikings and be like, where are my tickets? It was just completely ridiculous. But I mean, I was told I had fun, and from the photos, it looked like I had a blast.
Oh, nice.
I ended up, I think where I quit, I was a bourbon guy. Bourbon with a giant ice cube, and then I would buy these bottles of it, and then I would look at the bottle, and I would just challenge myself, can you finish that in 3 nights? And I would just go a third, and a third. So I didn't get as bad. I obviously didn't end up in the hospital, but like I drank alone and I drank at home. I'd put my kid to bed and I would be in my head going, all right, this is the night I don't drink. And I would go downstairs and I would put on MeTV, which is all the old shows, and everyone was smoking and drinking. And I was like, oh man, I mean, I got to have a drink. Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. is having a drink. I got to have a drink, right? Fuck this shit. And then they were all getting hammered, and I was like, Lou Grant's asking Mary if she wants a belt, because she's having a tough day in the newsroom. Why can't I have a drink, I miss it.
When you watch that stuff, it does kind of kick in. Like when I was watching the show Mad Men, I was like, God, these guys are having martinis at like meetings. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
They're just ripping cigarettes. They're just chain smoking nonstop. I'm like, I guess that's how it should be, isn't it?
I couldn't drink in the afternoon. Like, I've never been able to drink in the afternoon. I can drink in the morning if I got to fly, but not in the afternoon, like the way some guys have a drink at lunch. But my afternoons would end early, meaning I'd be like, okay, the day's over at 4.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Dude, I'm
going to go back to drinking.
Do those daytime cancel work shows?
Yeah, I do those call and sick to work shows. So we'd go in, do radio, drink on radio from like 8 in the morning till 10, and then go straight to the club. Show starts at 11, and they'd be fucking-sane.
God.
I mean.
Dude, where were you? Where were you when I was working in a warehouse? I would have loved if there was a comic out there calling sick to work day. I would be, me and my friends, when I worked in that warehouse, we would have been so fucking psyched and shit-faced.
Dude. They were the best. They were the best shows. I remember one time in Tampa, I got so drunk. I don't remember getting off stage. I don't remember leaving. I lost my check. I gave out Segura's number on stage, and I woke up in a house I'd never been in my entire life, right? I wake up, and I have no idea whose fucking house I'm at. And as I'm walking around, I see a picture of myself as a kid in the house. And I'm like, these people have a picture of me? My dad walks through the front door, and they had bought a new house, and I forgot about it, and they had moved, and I had never been there. And I was like, for a moment, I'm like, someone kidnapped me, and they're a mega fan. And pictures from fucking first grade of me and my sister.
They're like, they did some extensive research.
Holy shit, it even smells like my parents.
I remember one time I got off a flight. I was so shit-faced. This guy struck up a conversation with me at baggage claim. and I ended up riding home with him. And I forgot my wife was coming down to pick me up. So she called me up as I was pulling up to the house, and she was down in LAX. She's like, "Where the fuck are you? I've been out here for 40 minutes." I'm like, "I'm in front of our house." And she's like, "The fuck do you mean you're in front of the house? I spent an hour getting over here, right?" And then she came home, and I was passed out. She had to wake me up. It just got to that point. I was like, wow, man, that was really. The guy just came up, "Hey, Bill, I'm a big fan of your comedy." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, really?" And I just started talking, and we just kept talking. And next thing you know, I'm in his fucking car, riding home. And I'm sitting there going like, all right. And I was like, wait, I know there was something I was supposed to be doing. And then when I got to the house and my phone rang, I was like, oh, that's right. Meet my wife at the airport.
Oh.
I blacked out one time, and I came to, and I woke up, and I was on my couch. True story, 100%. Woke up on my couch, and I'm looking around, and there was a rabbi, full rabbi, watching Avatar on my couch. Full rabbi. And I look over at this guy, and I go, "Hey," and he goes, "Hey," and I go, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I was just making sure you didn't die." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, you were walking home from the bar, and you wiped out and passed out on the lawn. And I helped you home, and then I brought you in your place, and then Avatar was on. So then I just decided I just watched Avatar when it was on TV, and then you woke up. And I was like, "Oh, all right, well, I'm good." He goes, "Okay, cool," and he left.
Do you realize how lucky you are that was actually a good person? My God.
Good God.
Dion Cole told me. Dion Cole said, he goes, "I quit drinking." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah." He was like, I was drinking one night, and I black out, and I wake up, and I can't find my fucking car. So I call the cops. They don't know where it is. I call the tow truck company. They don't know where it is. I get my friend to drive me around. We can't find it. He goes, "Bert, I spent 3 days looking for this car." And then I was like, fuck it, man. I guess I lost a Mercedes. So he goes, I go to the bar. I sit down. I order a drink, and they're like, "Hey, man, when are you going to drive your car home?" He's like, "What?" And they're like, "It's in the back."
Oh
He
my
had
God.
left his car at the bar he had been at last. I just didn't know.
Yeah, those are the signs.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to
Those are
drinking,
big
though.
signs.
I'm just going to see if I can do this quarantine, and then when I go on the road, I'm going to start boozing again.
Fun.
Yeah.
I lost my car. I fucking woke up drunk after a set at the Improv, and I woke up and I couldn't find it, and I went to the Improv and it wasn't there. And I did the same thing. I go, I guess I just lost my car. And then I went on another bender, and I was walking on the street, and TMZ pulled over, and they go, "Hey, Nick, what are you doing?" And I go, "Nothing. I'm just day drinking. I lost my car." And they go, "Okay." And so they put it on TMZ. They go, "Nick Swardson lost his car." And then they put it on the show, and then my neighbor called me. He goes, "Do you think you lost your car?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "It's fucking down the street." Because I was wondering why you parked it down the block. And it turns out a couple comics had driven my car home and then got me to my place, and I just forgot about it. And then my neighbors saw TMZ, and they fucking solved the mystery of my car, and they did a follow-up story like, "Nick found his car, yay."
Hey, Bill, did you ever hear the story about Nick? Did you ever hear this story? It's one of the coolest stories. You may not think it's that cool, Nick, but Nick got a new phone number, and whoever got Nick's phone number, all of a sudden started getting texts from like Paris Hilton, like, "Hey, are you coming to the party tonight?" Do you remember this story? Is this a true story, Nick?
Yeah, and he just started putting a +1 on everyone's party. He talked to Sandler. He talked to all these people.
This guy that got Nick's phone number got his old phone number. So all these celebrities would text and be like, "Hey, man, are you going to come to the party tonight?" And he's like, "Yeah, can you put a +1 for my friend Harry David?" And the guy's like, "Sure." The Paris Hilton would be like, "Yeah, sure." So this guy ended up going to all the Hollywood parties just as like a Nick's +1.
And Nick was never there. That's amazing. Good for him. That's fucking that dude. That's like a documentary. I would have watched that.
No, I'm surprised you didn't turn it into a script or something, Nick.
I think somebody had approached me about it, about doing something, but yeah, it was really fucking weird.
Yeah, that's the craziest. I almost texted that guy because I have that old number. I almost texted him to like see if I could get him to come over to my house.
I mean, Sure.
He'd be like, "Hey, man," and then he gets here and I got no payoff for it. And I'm like, so you came, huh?" He's like, "Yeah, where's the party?" I'm like, "It's just me and you, buddy."
It turns out it's Yoko Ono. She's like,
That's a perfect closure, Nick. Hey, man, stay safe in Minnesota, brother.
yeah, love you guys, man.
Love
Stay
you
safe.
too, man. Miss
All
you.
right, Nick. Always great to hear from you. We'll see you soon, hopefully. All
All
right.
right, bye-bye.
Man.
All right, you called it. He's never had one of those awkward exchanges.
No, you did. That was
Oh, I
what's
did?
funny. You were the one who said it, and then you said we both said it.
God, man, I
Yeah.
just can't stand by my own words.
Bro, what's wrong with you? Even when you nail it, you can't just accept that you know you did it. You try to share credit with me. It was very generous, but it was you. You said it.
This is a good podcast.
I hope so.
This,
I've been doing it for fucking 2 hours here.
there's
My ass fell asleep.
Andrew last week goes, "Man, the comments are really great on the podcast. Like everyone's loving the Zoom." And I went, "Really?" So I go, I'm getting on the treadmill and I'm looking and I go, "Oh, good amount of views." I go to check the comments. I was like, I wouldn't mind a little positivity. And they're like, "This podcast is awesome, man. Bert, finally shut the fuck up." And I'm like, God.
No, you can't do it because I looked up to see how people was liking it, and somebody said, Bill Burr acts like a spoiled 13-year-old girl. And somebody wrote, "I agree." So for the rest of the day, I'm in my head going, I know I'm an idiot, but like, I don't know, like, I don't feel like I'm like, oh my God. Like if I fucking, So I was thinking, all right, I must have said something politically that fucking annoyed him. I have no idea. But every once in a while I forget, do not read the comments.
The first comment, "This podcast was awesome." 69 replies. I go, "Ooh, I wouldn't mind getting into this, right?" It's all got to be the same agreeing. And they're like, "Yeah, Bert finally must have understood that he's annoying as fuck. After being on Rogan and after doing his own podcast, he finally shuts the fuck up." And they're like, "I agree. I can't stand Bert." And then I'm like, wait, these are 69 people that just don't like me?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you're like, these are the people who just took the time to say they don't like me. Can't do it, Bert. You got to stay. You don't watch the news. You don't read the comments on shit you did.
I'm texting Nick that video from me and Sandler.
Oh, dude.
7 months, man. That's impressive.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, you'll get to a point where you don't even think about it anymore. Like, I don't think about drinking anymore. I more think about cigars because that's the latest thing I quit.
Oh, dude, I have such great fucking cigars, Bill. So I have literally
Please
probably
do that with your head again. I have such great cigars.
fucking cigars.
What do you have? Just tell me what you have. What do you hold?
Oh, Bill, I've got 3 humidors full of my favorite cigars.
I want to see it.
Here, I'll pull it over.
I want to see it. Look at that map of the world like you're some interesting guy. Oh my God, it really is flat. It's not flat. Explain that map. You're looking right down. It's 2 cereal bowls side by side.
This is all the cigars from my tour bus. These are all ones fans gave me. And these are just stuff that I've been like, dude, I love Tatuaje. And then all of a sudden I've got Tatuaje in here. I got the fucking flathead, the big one.
Those are some serious gauges too.
I love a size queen. This is my favorite cigar. Padron 7000. Are you kidding me? Oh, I love, there's nothing I love more than a little, what do we call it? A walk the dog. This is a nub.
Nubs the nubs are the best. The nub in the afternoon. In the afternoon, a nub, get the fuck out of here.
These are from my show. These were rolled on the show from my Netflix series. These are hand rolled from a guy that came out. I got a bunch of those. Oh, look at this. This is the Padron. It's a special. They only like made a few of them. It's a special 20th anniversary cigar. Oh.
I love it. You just go, these are special cigar. They only made a few of them. What are you selling me here, man? That sounds like a piece of shit cigar. You got yourself.
It's a good cigar.
They only made a few of them.
Fuck.
I like my thing. There's a place on Sunset out here, Cuban Seed. Those are my favorite cigars. Those and the La Auroras.
La Aurora is a great cigar.
Oh man, the ones look at that. Look at that. Where do I go? Where do I go? Oh my God, he's back. I like the one. I was actually looking at the different shapes, different cuts, and all of that. What makes something this or that? Like the one that I like. I'm trying to learn like what the cigar shapes. So the one that I like, it's a Perfecto. And it's the you know, the La Auroras. I love the Perfectos. That whole fucking line I love. And I could smoke those the rest of my fucking life, and I could smoke the Cuban seed one. There's one that's sort of, I don't know, regular gauge, whatever. I'm not good at that, the sizes and everything. I fucking love those things.
Let me see.
But I've had one cigar since January 13th.
Oh, you like the
Enjoy.
Perfectos. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Those are, dude, the best, the one I've ever had of that is the Zeno Platinums Perfecto. Holy shit. That's one of the greatest cigars I've ever had.
Zeno Platinum? That sounds like some shit you buy in a titty bar.
It's a yeah, by the way, it was given
Get around a Zeno Platinum. I'm buying.
There was I guess this is a long time ago. A rapper came to Jay Moore's show and he gave him 3 Zeno Platinums, and Jay didn't smoke cigars, and so he didn't want it. Me and Walter, his tour manager at the time, went down to the pool and smoked them. And I wasn't even that big of a cigar guy, but God, I'll never forget. That cigar was like, you're like, oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. That's got to be 20 years ago. And I just remember being like, this is really nice.
That's exactly what I said. What that got me hooked on cigars. I was doing an acting gig. I've told this story a million times. I'll tell it really fast. I was doing an acting gig. The director was taking us out on a little booze cruise around Boston Harbor. And so I was like, all right, so I got a box of cigars for all the fellas, whoever wanted to fucking smoke. And we got on, and the boat was too small to have 10 people smoking cigars. It would have been obnoxious. So I held on to them. And then we wrapped on the movie a few days later. And next thing you know, I was back home and I had the box of cigars. I'm like, what am I going to do here? And I was by myself, and it felt weird to smoke by yourself. And I went out on my back porch on the middle of a perfect LA sunny afternoon. And the second I drew in the first one, I was just like, oh my God, I get it. I get it. And then I've had a problem ever since then. Here's one. If you can get a good box of them, because I heard they're a little hit or miss. I swear to God, they're called the Caligula, like that fucking half a porno movie. Let me look up who makes these cigars. I had these things. They were. I got a good box of them. They were fucking delicious. I can't spell Caligula. Oh, there it is. Caligula cigar.
Magnadomus makes them.
Yeah, Magnadon. Oh my God.
Really?
Oh my God. And you got to get the ones that are like the let me see what shape this thing is. God knows we got the time here. This fucking, oh my, I smoked those things, dude. Like somebody got them for me.
Say it to me.
Wait a second. I'm going to fucking find out what this thing is. It's almost like, it's got the torpedo end on both sides. I don't know what that shape is called.
Caligula with a K or a C?
With a C. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get it for you here. Caligula. Casa Magna. Magnus. Sorry. Casa Magna de Magnus 2 Caligula cigars. You get a good fucking box of those. I love them. And then as far as Cuban cigars, if you get real ones, the last 2 real Cubans I smoked.
Ooh, I like that.
I was in Tel Aviv. Doesn't that look delicious?
God, that looks really good.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you, that's a tasty cigar.
I'm not going to smoke a cigar until they get a vaccine for this fucking coronavirus.
That's amazing.
I want my lungs to be at like legit. Right now, they're so fucking good. I got on the treadmill today and I ran great.
I don't think it's your lungs, dude, because you're not inhaling. What I get worried about is because I run my mouth for a living. I can't be fucking smoking, jaw cancer, tongue cancer, throat cancer. I don't need that shit.
Yeah. I just had a full-blown CAT scan on my head, so I don't have any cancer in my mouth. Thank God.
Oh, yeah, dude, I got to do that. I got to get the shit shot through my heart. You know what I mean? When they shot through the heart, you're having a coronary. I need to get that shit.
Do you get your teeth cleaned by your dad when you go home?
No. Why, do they look good?
They look great.
You know what? I quit fucking smoking and I just fucking went nuts with the toothbrush. You know, like a fucking whore going down on it every night there, Bert. I got it back because they were getting a little yellow there. I looked like I was ready to do the beginning of a fucking Efferdent commercial. Remember that when people put their dentures in? Cranberry stains are the worst. All right, I think we've done enough time here. I'm gonna go play some drums before my lovely daughter gets up.
All right.
And that's it. All right, brother. I mean, as much as I love you and I miss you, these Zoom things are kind of cool, man.
These are awesome, man. I could do that. I hope everyone's enjoying them because these are fun as fuck for me.
Yeah, I got to clean. I'm just embarrassed by how messy my office is. I got to clean it up, but I'll have a regular background for you here. So
I really take the background to the next level. I got my oldest special right there. Hey, Big Boy streaming right now, everybody. Go check it out. I love you, brother. Thank you. That was fun as fuck.
Hey, the only thing you're missing, you need like some sort of like one of those gazelles or something from Africa. You need one of those heads up on that thing.
Ooh,
the wall there.
That would be nice, right there, like a big elk head.
Or a have you ever watched those fucking those wild boars in Africa?
Yeah.
Dude, you got to watch the one where the fucking thing eats a baboon.
Wild boar eats
All right,
a
the
baboon.
look on your face, don't watch it. You just went, don't do that. Dude, it's an old baboon. He's trying to hide. He doesn't have the strength. I don't know what happened to the thing. And the pigs are freaks out because, you know, baboons are weird, man. They're like monkeys that have like tiger grills. You know what I mean? Like when you look at them, I was like, all right, it's a fucking monkey. Doesn't look as jacked as a chimpanzee. And then they yawn. You're like, oh, fuck. I didn't know he had that under his coat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, whatever. Just watch it.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. I'll have my research for next week.
Oh man, we got to take that fucking Casa Magna box out of the picture, man. I'm gonna go smoke some now. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for watching another episode of the Bill
Bert
Podcast. We'll see you next week.
See you guys. See you, Bill. See you, Andrew.
Bye-bye.